Well, hi guys, welcome to another Flight Deck 2 Sim live stream on Saturday the 10th of November. Today we're going to do two sectors. We're going to go from Gdansk, north of Poland, to Warsaw Chopin, and then we're going to go from Warsaw Chopin to Krakow. Each flight is going to be about 45 minutes, and as you can see already in Gdansk, the weather is appalling. Very low visibility. So we're going to talk about low visibility procedures a little bit, talk about the things we need to do, and then we'll get going. Cold and dark setup so you can see what we're going on. Going to be doing flight times, I said 45 minutes for both sectors roughly. And there is a VATSIM event going on in Warsaw Chopin, so we should get full ATC after departure into the approach and on the turnaround clearance to Krakow. Weather-wise, we're going to do an auto land in Warsaw Chopin. It's got a Cat 3 there. Krakow, we've got to be careful. There's only a Cat 1 ILS available. Weather at the moment's okay, but it might deteriorate. So we might have to divert later to probably Katowice, which is Cat 2, or back to Warsaw Chopin, but we'll see what happens when we get down. Anyway, let's not delay anything. I'm already on the VATSIM network, and I did get a few messages from people saying that they were going to be doing the same sector, so I'll keep a good lookout for you whilst we're doing everything. Right, firstly, let's get the battery on, get some ground power sorted. GPU on the bus, electric hydraulic pumps for our PM, who's going to be doing the walk around to check the ship's library. That's all checked, and we can now do all the fire tests and extinguisher tests. There we go. Fault test, it's all good. Fire tests, all lights illuminated. We have the fire warning bell as well. Back onto the overhead panel. Those exit lights on. We'll start the boarding now actually. If we do this, start flight leg, and that's all good. This can go to steady. Flaps off for now. All good. Set down here. Cargo fire tests. There we go. All looking good. I'll have a look at some of the comments coming in as well. Clear prop Richard Nash, hello there. Shocking weather, absolutely. Flying into Warsaw earlier, the fog was so bad for me, I had to divert. Ooh, well, we should be alright if we do a Cat 3 later. We'll see how we get on. Audio control panel's set. Circuit breakers are all set. Onto the upper overhead panel. Stall warning tests. Mach airspeed warning tests. Again, we have to wait a little bit longer for that to work. These can go to nav. It's going to take us 9 minutes for the IRS to align. And then obviously the real aircraft emergency escape routes, these circuit breakers door we can leave open for now. Logic UK, hi mate, what are the 3.31G updates? So yeah, this is a pre-beta version. One of the things is going to have a different type of radio altimeter, which I've been pushing ZIBO to employ here. Some changes again to VNAV. Not a major change, but again, this will be released as soon as the stream is finished later. Right, onto the overhead panel. Yaw damper on, fuel pumps on. No fuel in the centre tank. Check the crossfeed valve. Bright, dim, and then bright off. All on for the cabin utility IFE. Passenger seats are on because we're already fueled. Window heat can come on now. Packs, auto. Cruising today at flight level 230. And the elevation in Warsaw, I think it's 350 feet. We'll double check that later. That's all good for there. Right, now the SID we're flying, it's the Airline 2 hotel departure. So I think I've already loaded them all up. So if I go here to airport, here we go. It's quite a simple SID. It's an RNAV SID. We're going to tune Gdansk VOR. There's no VOR required for departure, just for raw data backup. So we'll put that in now. 116.1. That is the active frequency. Again, there's no need to, but it's just to tune something. It is an RNAV SID, so it's just you can just use RNAV. Left turn, max 220 knots, then another left turn all the way around here, basically getting all the way to Airline. There's no stop altitude on the SID, so I'm just going to set something random, something like flight level 90. There's no tower, anything here, so we can't get a delivery, but I think Warsaw centres live, so as soon as we get airborne we'll check in with them and get the score confirmed. Runway heading in Gdansk is 288, so we can set that. And again, just the courses you don't have to do this, but it just looks fine if you set this. And if you had to make an immediate return, not that you probably get back into Gdansk, you've just got the courses set for the ILS. Flight directors on. Water brake to RTO. Fueling's done. Load the FMC in a second. That's all good for now. Right, let's go to the FMC. Skipped a step actually. But, get terrain on. Airports. Clock's fine. Turn up the lights. Perfect. Did I forget the trim air on? Someone just noticed that. Well spotted, my friend. Afternoon, Captain. Hi. Pitivil, hope you're all well. Ghost train passed by. I've never been to Gdansk. I don't think this is here in real life. This is just default Gdansk scenery, but we do have the proper scenery for Warsaw Chopin. Right, anyway, let's get the flight plan loaded and we'll talk about some LVPs. So, here we go. Right, so this is just a standard generated flight plan from SimBrief. The minimum block fuel is 4.6 tonnes. Now, the weather in Warsaw isn't ideal. It's low visibility, and when there's low visibility, you can expect delays, holding, limited movement on the ground. So we're going to take some extra fuel. Minimum fuel legally will be 4.6. We're going to take 1,200 kilos on top of this. This gives us an extra 30 minutes of fuel. Now, that's enough for holding, bumbling around. And not only that, our alternate today is Łódź. Now, Łódź is quite close, and the weather forecast is actually not too bad for Łódź, but we'll actually have alternate fuel to get as far away as Berlin, Schönefeld, which is, in these sort of conditions, you don't just have one alternate. If the weather's below minimums at your destination, you have to have at least 2 alternates where the weather is far better. Then that's what's available for the approach. So it's a kind of a legal thing, a bit of an airline policy. But yeah, essentially we're just taking 1,200 kilos on top of this. So 4.6 past 12 plus 1,200 is 5.8 tonnes, which gives us a little bit more wiggle room there. Right, so we'll just get the FMC loaded. I hope you've got your latest Navigraph subscription AirAC. So this was just updated a couple of days ago. So this is valid now until December. We are in Gdansk, which is Echo Papa Golf Delta. And GPS position left. Routing from Gdansk to Chopin, which is Echo Papa Whiskey Alpha. For any Polish viewers, I really apologise for my accents as well. I'm not terribly good at Polish, so Warsaw, I think is it pronounced Warszawa or Warsaw? I don't know. I need to listen to the controllers more. Call sign again, the infamous Broadsword 01. Departing runway 29. It's a slight tailwind for departure, but it is preferred, and the tailwind's way less than 5 knots. The departure we said was going to be the Airline to hotel, and then very short routing is going to be, if I just go to the next page, I think it's this button, there we go, Airline, November 133 to Gruda, and after Gruda it was November 191 to Sorix, which is the arrival. 191 to Sorix. Now, in Warsaw Chopin, in low visibility, the Cat 3 is on runway 33. So I'm not sure if the wind favours that, but it doesn't matter. Generally, when there's low visibility, it's they always favour the runway with the ILS, not the wind, and you don't usually get strong wind. So you can expect ILS runway 33 with the Sorix 4 uniform. So departure, arrivals. ILS 33, Sorix 4 uniform, and we'll select the Whiskey Alpha 534 transition, which I looked at earlier is the one we'd like to fly. Right, we'll activate it, execute. We'd usually wait, as I always say, to execute that until a little bit later to check the routing with the pilot monitoring. Right, now let's do the performance. 0 fuel weight, 57.4 tonnes. This is based on 150 passengers. With the fuel, gives us a takeoff weight of 63.2 tonnes. The reserves, oops, can't remember what they were. Well, this is actually incorrect. I need to let SimBrief know. It says final reserves are 2331. Well, no, that's the reserves 30 minutes plus the alternate fuel. So that's not the final reserve, but that's the figure we want, 2.4. And that's the amount of fuel we need to divert to Łódź. Cost index when you use is 30, cruising at 230. Execute that. And the cruise wind Let's have a look here. Top of climb, 300 at 22 knots. And the ISA deviation is +3. Cool. So eventually, I did actually try and get it done for this stream, guys, but I wanted to have the OPT app overlaid so you can see what it's doing from my company EFB. It's from an iPad, so it should be easy to do. But I don't know, or I couldn't find out how to do it, but I will endeavour to get that sorted. Right, I'm just loading up the latest METAR from Gdansk on the phone there. So temperature's 8 degrees. And visibility, it's RVR reported of 1,300 metres, mist broken at 200. So it's a crap day basically. Yeah, I think you could get in here. It's Cat 2 available for runway 29. So anyway, I'm getting a little bit distracted by that, but thrust setting, it says 22k on the APT based on the weather, and we could take an assumed temperature of 35 degrees. 35 degrees. The OPT says, doesn't like the slash for some reason, it says 89.2, well that's 90.0, which makes sense because there's a change with the APU bleed, which we'll discuss later. Flat 5, and the V speeds I have on the OPT are 38, 39 and 43, so as long as they're within 1 knot we can accept them, and the V2 we can put up here 144 knots. Excellent, so that's pretty much everything we need loaded. Alright, now what I want to do now is just get the pushback organised, and I understand what I'm already logged on to VATSIM. I'm meant to tune on Unicom, aren't I? 122.8, and then I'm meant to write down all the instructions. Is it 122.8? I think it is, but it's tuned anyway. And then we can write and tell anyone that's listening what we're up to later. But we'll get the pushback sorted. So better pushback, pre-plan. Already pre-planned it, actually. We'll do that there, but I just want to press connect first just to get the tug ready so we don't get delayed later. You can see I've turned it really low, turned the volume down quite low, so that's so we can actually hear the real ATIS later on as we get closer to Krakow. Now, just before we get that sorted, just get the APU running. And I want to just discuss some things about LVPs, alright? So you can see how outside the weather is really poor. When the weather is really bad at airports, they have something called low visibility procedures. Now, this is specific procedures, you've guessed it, on how to operate your aircraft at that airport when they're in force. And they're all explained on the chart. So if you go here, here's all the charts for Gdansk. And I bought the aircraft, or the plate aerodrome chart, general information here. And you can see here all about LVPs. It says the LVP will be enforced when the RVR falls below 800 metres or the cloud base is less than 300 feet, so that's in force. During LVP, special ATC procedures will be applied. You'll be informed on the ATIS about it. Arrivals, that's not applicable, and it says for takeoff, they'll be carried out on using both runways 1129. Takeoffs are prohibited if the RVR is less than 125 metres. So when you get your clearance, you'd confirm the LVPs with ATIS, and then if you go here to what was it? Checklist? No, where am I want to go again? Avitab Airports, and here you'll see right at the bottom you have the LVP required for departure. Now, there's a lot of things you need to... Oh, I'm just seeing on the chat, yeah, I can contact Centre for clearance. Right, thanks for the heads up, guys. You wouldn't usually contact Centre, but I will do that, thanks for that. Right, you can see here for low visibility takeoff, all different RVRs are required. Now, these are based off the lighting available. Now, firstly, you need to be approved by the airline to have that. Now, we'll base this flight on my operator's RVR procedure. We are authorised at my airline to take off in 125 metres, but to do that you have to have all of these letters. This means high intensity runway edge lights, centre lights, and all the reporting RVRs. Oh look, someone's messaged me to get to the clearance. That's very helpful. And you need the RVR reported for touchdown zone midpoint and runway endpoint of 125 metres. So we can take off today 125 metres. Our current RVR in Gdansk is 1300, so we're absolutely fine legally, and that's it really. There's some other factors too, but they're more applied to real life operations. Right, now thanks for all the feedback regarding getting the clearance. Warsaw Centre is on frequency. Stand by, guys. we got the success. 125450. I better just say thanks to whoever donated there as well. My Tree coming with a €1 tip. Thank you very much for that. That is very appreciated. You might hopefully not hear the dog in the stream again. Remember last time, guys, the dog kept walking in, but he's pretty tired now. I just walked him. Yeah, 125450 for the clearance. See, I'm still a complete VATSIM noob, so it can be quite different to real life. So 125, sorry, 450. There we go.
Ready for
there we go. So I can hear someone. That's a good sign. So I'll get this station. Mark says higher stations take over the duties of lower stations if the lower station isn't online. Therefore, you switch to contact centre for clearance.
Very high distance from Wawun.
Well, hopefully get a bit of a gap in the
100.
clearance. It's probably very busy today.
Correction, my mistake. Runner for Ecuador expects Wawun at 6,000 feet and then go for descent, okay? Plan your descent to cross Wawun at 6,000 feet.
All Polish controllers as well.
Run for Delta, yes. Still while we are...
Maitri, how did you stock up your graphics? I know it's just default default 11 and all my system specs. So thanks, I got a message from someone regarding the volume. I notice it's louder. You see on this set of audio how these little lines are here. If you go in the notepad, you can alter the configuration and manually set it louder. So this guy is obviously the controller. This is why you don't get clearance off them in real life, because he's having to deal with descents, climbs, radar clearances, and then give you clearance delivery. So I'll try and get a gap in here for departure. Would you offer 1330 Zulu? Abbas Abukar, did you send the flight plan? I did. I did send the flight plan using
station, please say again, because transmission was broken. Unfortunately, you are not saying one by one. And please you say one by one, okay?
This guy is really busy. If you can't get the clearance, can you just go? We'll give him a few minutes. I'll answer questions also there. Got the frequencies there. Hi Michael, hope you're well. Warsaw radar is controlling Gdansk. Thank you very much. Yeah, highlights the radio is a bit too much higher on the volume. Yeah, I could turn it down a bit, I think. I just want it this loud, just in case we struggle hearing them early, because on my last stream really struggled.
265, climb flight level 340 and you are identified.
I think I'll just try and butt in here.
Warsaw radar, what is
way too busy.
Inbound index with you.
Anyway, is someone else here in Gdansk with me? I don't even know. Oh yeah, someone there. A couple of lots. We're probably going to get clearance at the same time.
Proszę poczekać. Będziemy przełączać do sektora północnego. Break, KLM, Tango Charlie. Contact.
Lewis Hancock, can we have a quick wing view? Of course you can. There you go. So this is a new wing view. Audio Bird XP is actually still editing this paint scheme for me, so we have the windows looking outside. But that's what it looks like. Got another view this way as well, I think. Pretty cool. Got the skimpers on the wingtips as well. Deck, how long have you been a pilot for? Well, I've been flying aircraft for 14, 15 years now, and the 737 now for 7 years, so started flying as soon as I could, really. 15, flew glider solo on my 16th birthday. And that's it in a nutshell.
Warsaw radar,
what is the now
active runway in Szczecin for Ryanair 289?
Quick question, guys, on VATSIM. I was soon going to get the clearance of this, guys, but you don't get the taxi instructions from him, do I? I guess I just taxied the whole point myself.
Warsaw North, just here.
Oh, he's so busy. I'm going to just try and check in 2 seconds.
Never 9. 230.
Is this guy gone?
And 96. Yankee, level 230.
Last connection of flight level 230, please take in close sign.
So there, someone just mentioned switch to Warsaw North Centre. So I'm on Centre 125450, but there is also another frequency, North Centre
Warsaw Radar, can you
Which,
repeat
just trying to get the frequency for
289er?
here.
Runner 289er, contact Warsaw North.
13067.
Online right now, and the frequency is 130.67. Contact Warsaw North, frequency 130.
Try and get this guy, because this is Warsaw North, he should be covering this frequency.
130.67, dzięki. Warsaw North, witam serdecznie, kłaniam się niziutko, runner 289er with you, flight level 28.
Try and get straight in, guys. Sorry about this delay, but it can be like this actually. Madrid, Barcelona, you're trying to get your clearance, you're there for 5 minutes to check
and
it.
we have a question about what is now the active runway in Szczecin. Runner 289er at the moment, ILS 31. ILS 31, copied, runner 289er, thank you.
Warsaw North.
Dzień
Oh, look at that!
Dobry dzień.
Jack Kenner, hey Flight Sim, did you do your flight training with Heref or Oxford? I trained at Oxford Aviation Academy. Or it's what's it called? That's all CAE, isn't it? Warsaw North, good afternoon. Broadsword 01. Request departure clearance to Warsaw Chopin from Gdansk.
Station calling for clear, second call, sign only.
Broadsword 01. He probably doesn't recognise it.
Broadsword 01, hello, here to Warsaw, you're on to hotel departure on 89, 450.
I think I just got the squawk cleared to Warsaw. It's the LL2 held departure, squawk 4503, Broadsword 01.
Broadsword 01, squawk 4502.
Squawk 4502, Broadsword 01.
Broadsword 01, clearance copy, correct. Gdansk 1013.
1013, Broadsword 01. We got it, alright, so, quick question for you guys, because this guy is absolutely flat out. Can I taxi and take off, or do I need clearance from him? I'm going to get the engine started anyway, because we need to get going. Anyway, get the GPU disconnected. Services, disconnect GPU. And yeah, well, we've got the clearance. Well, he doesn't give us a stop altitude, so I'm literally going to set the cruise level, which is 230. There is no clearance there. 230 set. Alright, cool. So, cleared, push and start, imagine. Off, on, anti-collision light on. Parking brake is set. Transponder out, off. There we go. Good. Oh, him, the PA in the background, that's a very familiar voice. It's my girlfriend, she did all the voices for Audio Phoenix for me. You need clearance from him. Is that clearance for push and start or for takeoff? The whole lot. Thanks to this, guys. I should really look this up online, but I guess with my real life experience it would be too different. There is no tower ground here, that's the problem. Brandon's studio, so I can't get transferred over.
Problem, but okay, we managed, we are ready for 10.
Cool, so we'll request this guy for push and start.
170, initially, run at 330 cleared.
Warsaw North, dzień dobry, runner for Echo Delta, we be descending through flight level 2 to Chicago.
Yeah, don't forget setting the trim. Yeah, that's actually a bad habit I've got in the mod here. The trim setting in the real aircraft is completely based. We don't use the CG off a load sheet, so I just set about 5.5. It's fine, you know, it works well. But yeah, we definitely don't do that in real life. You need to definitely have the correct trim set.
Probably good day.
So you can see here we've got the new radio altimeter, which is part of the G pre-beta version. We're going to be testing this obviously when we get to Warsaw. Warsaw, Broadsword 01, request push and start.
Broadsword 01, push and start approved, that's my
Push start approved, Broadsword 01. Excellent. He's doing well, this guy. I feel sorry for him, because he's really busy. Request push friend. Oh Christ, got to be careful here. Someone's just here on stand, but I think we should just miss him. Cool, parking brake released, and the time is 1325. We're scheduled to due off block at 13:30, so 5 minutes ahead of schedule. Company will be most happy.
Break.
It's gonna be super busy.
Break.
Oh my god. Oh dear. Right, anyway, let's get started. Engine number 1.
320, clear ILS 29er, KLM 2
I had to see who else is around. Oh, really busy in Gdansk. Unbelievable. Just watch the wingtip on the turboprop there. Little flyby.
3 Tango Foxtrot, confirm, do you have your clearance?
Excellent. 25% in. So if you get a chance, check the spar valve goes bright and dim. It's almost impossible on this. Josh and Callahan, Flight Sim, do you know what airlines are hiring low-hour, non-type rated pilots? Well, pretty much all the major European airlines, certainly one I work for, all the ones in the UK. Yeah, it's certainly quite buoyant at the moment. If you're just finishing flight training, you should at least get into. Right, clear start engine number 1. You can just about hear the pushback doing to the parking brake set. That poor controller having to do everything and push back of these guys in Gdansk. I know some of you message you saying you'd be doing the same flight, so if you're any of these high, I don't know who you are exactly. Paul Empson, I updated my ZIBO but still got 4 landing light switches. Yeah, you need to change your settings in ZIBO mod to the high intensity runway edge lights. That's the ones you need. Oh Christ, I got completely distracted. Starleaf idle detents, spar valve. Oh, Nightbot's working, yes. Looks like someone used a spam word. Yeah, I don't think the only custom command I've put is the exclamation mark and routing that you can find the route, but I will have more features of that in the future. Anyway, let's not get distracted. We'll need the engine anti-ice. I think I might turn VATSIM down a bit. It's quite loud today.
Good evening.
Recall. What have I forgotten? Master caution anti-ice. Push recall. Flaps. Flight 5. Full forward. Full back, full left, centre, full right, centre, rudder, full left, centre, full right, centre. Recall I've already done, and then we do the before taxi checklist. Well, this guy's busy, so I'm just going to read the before taxi checklist. So generators on, APU off, and the start switch is continuous, probe heat is on, anti-ice is required, yet engine and wing anti-ice is on for the poncho because it's below 10 and with very low visibility. Air conditioning packs auto, isolation valve for auto, AP bleed off. And we've got Mark Sputnik coming in with a 5, I don't know the currency, CHF, sorry. Dzień dobry, and have a good flight. Thank you very much for that, that's very, very kind, thank you very much. That's really bad, you should be distracted from checklist. Start switches off, no that's, oh god, no, what stab trim set, flaps 5 required, 5 selected green right, flight controls checked, recall check, before taxi checklist is complete. Oh yeah, for anyone that's wondering watching my last stream, firstly, sorry for the tasteful language, but if you'd like to know why the engine failed, it's because of a randomly generated failure in Explain 11. It was in the settings, and it just caused the engine to fail basically at 6,000 feet. It was extremely annoying, but we cracked on with it. Didn't do anything properly, but we did at least land with the one engine remaining safely, which is important. Right, we'll try and get in anyway with this guy. Our taxi routing will be something like, we're on Mike here, taxi right off Mike into Alpha, and then all the way to holding point, Alpha for runway 29. The performance figures are actually from Charlie, but in LVPs you'd have to probably depart for late. Broadsword 01, request taxi. Broadsword 01, request taxi.
Broadsword 01, thank you, confirm. You're facing east at the moment.
A firm facing east on the Mike taxiway, broadsword 01.
Broadsword 01, roger that, stand by. Break, load 3, tango.
So yeah, he knows we need to go, which is good. Brandon Judy, Edge of Fail was one hell of a cool experience. Yeah, you're telling me. Always expect the unexpected, guys.
Break. Lot 3, Tango Foxtrot. Okay, one ready taxi via Mike Alpha, holding point 29er.
So that's a guy ahead of me, I think.
Ready for taxi via Mike Alpha, holding point 29er, Lot 3, Tango Foxtrot.
Broadsword 01, behind Boeing 737 Lot Company, taxi via Mike Alpha, runway holding point 25, holding point 29er behind.
Behind the Lot 737 taxi Mike Alpha holding point 29 at broadsword 01. Excellent! We're on our way, guys. So, taxi clearance received. Is he moving ahead? I've only got default Gdansk frequency, which I guess is why this guy's floating on. He's on prepared. Just wait for him to get moving. Perfect. Is he gonna go? He'd be cursing in real life. Oh Christ! Forgot he was there. Can't tell if he's moving or not. Obviously, he'd be falling out the sky, but...
Quality 47 Tango, clear to Warsaw.
He is moving. There we go. Right, let's get going. Release parking brake, config check. Excellent. No takeoff config warning horn. And we can follow the Lot 737 to holding point 29. So let's talk about VATSIM. If clearance is on, you can request your clearance from there, your pushback, and taxi and takeoff. Dreamless, is it common to have all the other airplanes above the ground using VATSIM? No, it's because I use X-Plane 11 and these aircraft are using either FSX or prepared, and X-Plane has all the elevation slopes and everything simulated, so where I think prepared is just completely flat. Neville Manager, I could always go underneath him. I could. But can they see me? That's the question. If I'd be under the ground for them, probably. Anyway, so taxiing Mike, then Alpha. It's not the most detailed taxi for that, but so here we go. Right onto Mike and then onto Alpha. But I think the default airports are really good for X-Plane 11. They're very detailed. I've got to be careful here so I don't hit this guy. Oh, he's way ahead now. Perfect. Yeah, that is crud weather. That is crud weather for sure.
Liner 289, descent level 110.
Perfect. So, in very low visibility, I mean this is okay, we've got at least a kilometre visibility, about 1,000 metres. But you have to be very careful with routing like this. You know, for example, you could easily get misled and go on this taxi routing and enter the runway, so that's why you have stop bars and stuff, so you'll be so cautious. But the visibility is not too bad here. I think if you're flying to Gdansk right now in real life, you get in definitely off a Cat 2 ILS. Awesome. So we'll do the before takeoff checklist. Config we've checked. Flaps we have 5.5 green light. Stab trim set for takeoff about 5.5 units. Takeoff briefing, it's going to be packs in auto, bleeds on, the V-speed set for takeoff. 38, 38, 44, V2 is set. The departure is the Airline 2 hotel. Climb straight ahead to Golf Delta 511, left turn 198 inbound to whatever the next waypoint is, forgotten already. Golf Delta 542, and I didn't confirm the stop level, but I have the 230 set here. Well, hopefully he didn't give me one low and I've not bust the level there. So that's the takeoff briefing complete. Obviously we'll discuss the threats with low visibility with the other pilots.
What is the estimated time for holding?
And we'll imagine we've got cabin secure before takeoff checklist is complete. So he said there's a 10-minute delay of holding somewhere. I don't know if that was in Warsaw. So we'll have to see what happens when we get down there. Oh, what's the reason for holding?
The reason of holding is the traffic incoming. You are number 2. Roger that, enter holding over Papa.
I don't think he really appreciates that question. I wouldn't ask that question because it's pretty obvious if it's due traffic or weather. Actually, looking on the VATSIM map I have on my phone, there's loads of traffic inbound to Warsaw. So you should see what I'm looking at, guys. I've got my monitor, my PC, I've got two iPads. I've got my work iPad, which has all the charts on, my personal iPad, where I can control the stream, on my laptop so I can see your questions. It looks like Star Trek Enterprise in my office. It's awesome.
The delay, you may expect delay in the clearance. Incoming traffic is the first. Break, lot 89er, Foxtrot, runway 29er,
Cool.
correct. Wind to Gdansk, 150 degrees at 6 knots.
Wind copy, clear 1-2 now, lot 89er Fox.
5512%, start approved, please.
Abbas, what's the difference between Cat 1 and Cat 2 ILS? So it's all to do with several things. Basically, guys, you could do an auto land off any ILS, Cat 1, Cat 2 or Cat 3, but Cat 1 ILS, you can only do a practice auto land. You couldn't do an auto land in these conditions. For Cat 2, Cat 3, you need different types of lighting, holding points, backup generators to the ILS. I'm not too clued up on that, but it's all what the airport has to invest in and afford. But off a Cat 2 or Cat 3, you are allowed to do an auto land in these conditions, as long as the RVR is below limits. But it's a very complex area, low visibility procedures, and the operation. There's a lot of legal things taken into account and things you've got to consider as well. So I hope the volume's alright for VATSIM, guys. Obviously if I'm talking, he's talking in the background, it is a complete mumble, but I'll probably talk a little less as we get airborne, so you can just watch what I'm doing and I'll explain what I'm doing. What is the minimum visibility for departure? It's 125 metres for this runway today. And the current visibility, which I'll get off the METAR, is 1600 metres. So yeah, well in excess of what we need. So it's absolutely fine to do an low-vis takeoff today. Cool, so coming up to the whole point, we can close this chart now. Oh, where's he gone? Ah, I better stop here so I don't go into the back of him. There we go.
November 50 Papa, clearance correct. QNH Gdansk 1013, break, lot 3 tango, dot line up, runway 29 and way.
Good, so he's been given his line-up clearance.
Climb right, runway 29er, lot 3 Tango Foxtrot.
There's our American friend, I wonder where he's going.
Runway for Echo Delta.
Probably to Warsaw as well, I'll be following him all the way.
And then for Echo Delta, clear Thailand Zulu, approach runway 31, report when
So
established.
nice and steady, don't want to go into the back of him.
Zulu, runway 31, airport established runway Echo Delta, fraction, and for Echo Delta.
Cool.
Radar.
This controller must have extreme patience to do this.
Station liner 2.
Okay, he's line of weight, so we'll go to the whole point. So in the real airport in Gdansk, I'm sure if they've got Cat 2, they'd have Cat 2 and Cat 1 holding points, just to keep the runway protected from the interference.
Liner 2361, clear to Warsaw, departure runway 31. After departure, make right turn to...
Awesome. So bring it to a stop at the whole point. These shouldn't be like this, they should be red, solid red, not this kind of flashing amber light.
Initially flight level 100, 44512. Confirm this flight.
Reko, what do you use for weather and what do you use for VATSIM live map? I've got... The app I'm using is... I can't even find it now. VAT Traffic, which works well, and default X-Plane 11 weather with this plugin XPNOAA, which gives you more accurate updates and stuff. But yeah, it's just default. I wait for Active Sky to be released. So. Yeah, this is the Bluebell paint series. It actually looks really good. Just a shame that they're floating. But I understand Squawk Box, the client I use on X-Plane is going to fix this floating issue, which should be pretty cool.
Cruise land 1-2 on runway for Echo Delta.
Busy, busy, busy.
Brake. Ryder 289 in holding.
Brake. So running with 3.1, reserve's still 2.3, so we've still got plenty of fuel. You know, had I actually anticipated taxiing like this, I would have taken a little bit extra for that, for delayed holding point and stuff. So,
Dzień dobry, lot 786.
so he's waiting for his departure clearance.
Lately, 114 with the flight to Nelson, we're requesting clearance to Warsaw.
All station, you may expect at least 20 minutes
Perfect.
delay. Expect
20 minutes, so that's
delay.
using all that
In
extra
case of
fuel I put on.
That will be more.
This could be interesting.
Lot 3 Tango South truck is lined up on runway 29.
Good, so he's got his takeoff clearance.
We have takeoff runway 29, lot 3
Getting
Tango
it straight
South
away,
tower,
guys, don't
report
want to miss
airborne.
Broadswords.
1219 reducing frequency change. Lot 89 Foxtrot, welcome to Gdansk, taxi via Alpha Mike.
Oh, he's doing taxi instructions. Probably doing several airports as well, not just
Alpha Mike
Gdansk.
1026, for your information, we had the lights at 50 feet.
Ooh.
Bronco 001, behind the parking 737, line up and wait, runway 29.
Behind the departing 737, line up and wait behind Broadsword 01, runway 29. Okay, so we've got our line up clearance, not cleared for takeoff, so we turn the taxi light off to remind us. Strobes on. Order throttle, transponder to TARA. So MCP is set, transponder TARA, strobe lights are on. Holding on landing lights, we'll just wait for our takeoff clearance.
North Shuttle 1019, contact Sweden 118, small 4, bye bye.
Oh, was that? He said broadsword? Not too sure. I think he just said the other guy broadsword, got a bit confused. So
Fourth
when,
and final lot 3 Tango South start is airborne.
excellent. So when you're lining up, you've got the runway heading here. Here, 288. You can line it up with your track so when you know you're exactly lined up with the centre line.
7011, go ahead.
That's a neat little trick.
7011, due to traffic expedited this way. Thank you. Expediting descent,
Cool.
flight 170.
So we are, we're ready to go. Some passenger view. This, I just can't believe I explained that, but it's so good.
Land maintain flight level 250, lot 3 Tango Foxtrot.
North 1019, requesting frequency change. Station calling second one, the North Shuttle 1019, yes.
Yeah, so I just, yeah. Gee, we're already 45 minutes, yeah. We started the stream 45 minutes ago. We haven't even left. Oh well.
Negative, 118.
Super busy.
Sweden radar 118, small 4. 118 small 4, North Shuttle 1019.
Quality 47 Tango for taxi.
Station calling again.
Quality 47 Tango for taxi.
Perfect. Pilot Michelle, why the sound not good? How can you fly like this? So you talk about the VATSIM? It's not too bad. I can understand it. I think it's just VATSIM.
Holding short, station is calling before. He is in my way. That's 512. Okay, there's Polski 512, hold position. Break quality 47 Tango taxi. To the right.
So set the parking brake. Wouldn't usually do that because you'll forget, and then you'll get the takeoff config horn just so I don't have to hold the trigger down on my joystick.
Holding point 29, person Tango.
Mayday, oh god.
Mayday.
Fuel.
Wait, I know we have autopilot problem. Autopilot pilot
Oh,
is
for
now
goodness
working, so to immediately land on
I don't think he's got the capacity to deal with that.
Oh,
he is.
Direct Oscar Lima, descent altitude 4,000 feet, reporting down to we need headings because our autopilot is not working.
By the way, guys, if you have an autopilot failure, that's not really a mayday. A mayday is for really serious situations like life in danger. So fires, rapid depressurizations. You wouldn't even do a pan for an autopilot failure because you're trained to fly manually. So you'd be a bit embarrassed if you did that.
I can give you the clearance.
Sorry, can you just repeat the waypoint?
Oscar Lima.
We're going to start campfiring soon. It's going to take ages. Niraj, what airport is this? It's Gdansk. We're in Gdansk. We're flying to Warsaw. Flight time when we do get going will be about 45 minutes.
Taxi via Charlie Romeo tent number 1.
So if you ever sat on the row as a passenger looking out the window wondering what's going on, in these situations, with LVPs it could be they have to have sequences for departure, so spacing and stuff. Mayday, I can't fly a plane.
Warszawa Radar, dzień dobry, lot 786
I think I'll push this guy.
na poziomie 340, dolot do
Been
Unpeg.
online for 46 minutes and we've travelled about 500 metres. There we go. Cleared takeoff, runway 29, broadsword 01. There we go. So, cleared takeoff, taxi light on, takeoff checklist complete. Okay, so to start the timing, let's get going, guys. So, 40% N1. That is stabilised. Toga set takeoff thrust. I just match my thrust lever position with the setting so it doesn't alter there. Right, 89.0. Takeoff thrust is set. Indications normal. Checked. Neutralise the control column now. Slight tailwind for takeoff. That's absolutely fine. We've taken that into account.
7011, bye bye. Warszawa Radar, dzień dobry, lot
Super busy in Gdansk.
786 na 340 przed punktem.
P1, rotate, hand off the thrust lever. We go 2 to 2.5 degrees per second, 15 degrees. There we go. Gear up so much. I'm probably going to talk less because the VATSIM's been so busy.
Uniform dopadza przez lot 786.
LNAV. So it's NADP1 here, guys, so we're going to bug up at 3,000 feet. Okay, 1,000 feet command, and we'll leave it as it is until 3,000 feet. Above aerodrome level. So there's climb thrust.
Continue taxi 35
Climb flight level 230, broadsword 01. Right, so we've got a final takeoff cruise level clearance, right? So that's pretty cool.
7170,
The hazard rocks, parking brakes are on. We released those just before we get going. We wouldn't have got very far. So when we're 3,000 feet above aerodrome level, which is about 3,500 feet, we'll bug up. It's quite noise sensitive coming out of Gdansk. There we go, so we can bug up.
Runner
12545.
Oh, so busy. Okay, V2 plus 15, we can now select flat ball.
Runner 289 request descending to 3,000 feet.
And as soon as you're above 3,000 feet clear to a flight level, don't delay setting standard. Don't delay setting standard, you want to get that set as soon as possible. You don't need to be above the transition altitude. So if you are clear to a flight level, as soon as you're above 3,000 feet, now this is company specific SOP.
And will report established.
Okay, flaps up. No lights, V nav, standard set, passing. 4, flight level 230 after takeoff checklist, so gear to off. Brake to off. Coming out the top of cloud now, lovely. So the engine anti-ice will come off now as well. Air conditioning and pressurisation. Check the big needle, diff pressure is 1.2, that means we're pressurising. Auto, climb 230 set. And the altimeter standard set. Passing 50230 after takeoff checklist is complete. This releases the cabin crew. And there we go, this is on top of cloud now, lovely. That's the most satisfying part of my job, the bit I love most of all. You get above the cloud, and you see it like this, or you descend into the cloud, into the murk. It's pretty cool.
Runway 33 set, 312.
There we go.
Please say again the arrival.
These are pretty cool views. Excellent.
Didn't have a uniform arrival for runway 33.
How's that, Joe? Flight sim, do you know if the magenta curve line will be coming to ZIBO anytime soon? Don't think any time soon, because it's quite difficult to simulate, and apparently there's a big frame rate here. Well, it's a bit concerning, someone 3,000 feet above us, but that's probably quite normal if he's being space, can't see him. We need to fix TCAS as well, the way the traffic's displayed. You should only see if you're within 2,700 feet of you.
Yes, affirmative, sir. We have emergency landing. That's the landing has a priority. That's the default position. I'm gonna call you back shortly.
Ryanair 2800, we are unable to do ILS approach, so we can just visual approach.
A visual approach in Poland? You'll be lucky today. Oh dear.
Roger, we report.
You'd very much want to do an ILS approach if you had an autopilot failure. Visual approach, very challenging.
We don't have, yes, now we don't have airport inside because the clouds are too low. Actually, now we have airport inside.
Thank you, Lord.
Right. So yeah, see clouds rebuilding, that's a fault with this add-on. I've got this NOAA weather add-on, it just has to rebuild the scenery every 10 minutes, which is a bit of a pain. Good, so actually, as soon as you can do the pre-cruise checks, we are going to get ready for the ILS into Warsaw, because it's a very short flight. We'll talk about LVPs. So, passing 100-230. Lights, APU's off, pressurization 2.5 set. Release passengers now. Recall. Here we go. Pre-cruise checks complete. Perfect, so get rid of all these charts into Gdansk now. And on a short sector like this, you'd actually get the pilot flying to hand over control whilst climbing to actually set up. We do some really short sectors. So you can already get set, get everything set up ready. Right, so Warsaw Chopin. Next. Not trusting this weather. I'm going to go off the weather off the Aero Weather app. Right, so we want arrival. And the start we're going to expect is the Sorix 4 uniform.
We're clear to Warsaw, yeah.
Victor, there we go. And we can expect ILS 33 Cat 3. We'll also want the airport charts, airports. There we go. So we're going to be landing on this runway here, runway 33, which is the one with Cat 3. And we also need parking stands. That should be all we should need. I still have the plate chart here as well.
On the ground.
And the only other thing I want to do is get the briefing information regarding LVPs, which is, I made a note of this earlier. I can't find what it was now. 10-1P1, that's it.
So it's like
10-1P1, this one there.
Rider 23, to 1.
Excellent, so we'll talk about this when we get to top of climate. Everything's set up really. Knife motion, how do you know what runway and approach to expect? Well, based on the forecast conditions in Warsaw, they'll be using Cat 3, and the only Cat 3 they have there is on runway 33, so that's a good guess. But, you know, sometimes you can't guess, you don't know what it is, and they might change the runway. If you look at my last stream, going to Zurich, I thought we were landing on, I can't remember what the numbers were, but it was different to what we planned.
General 78 Foxtrot, contact approach, one-way, that's my way, and direct to Red Crow.
So I'm just having a look at the VAT map, see who else is around. I guess we'll get handed over to centre soon. Bryony Lewis, what processor and graphic cards are you using? If you look at the video description, you'll find all the specs of my PC there.
and the frequency for
Oh, a little bit quiet on the frequency. Good. So, overheading in this direction. Łódź is here. These are, I'm just recognising some of the codes. This is Łódź, this is our alternate if we can't get into Warsaw Chopin. Oh, can someone who's Polish in the stream tell me how to pronounce the delivery frequency in tower in Warsaw? Is it Okesi? Okesi or Okechi? I always try to do it correctly. I've never flown into Chopin before. Flown into Poland plenty of times, but never Chopin.
Za wszystkie błędy, dzięki serdecznie za miłą kontrolę i do usłyszenia.
Dzięki, na razie.
Cool. So, as we're approaching 230, which is our cruise, we'll start talking about the arrival and stuff. So, what I want to do is start putting all the information in the FMC. So, descent page, 240 below 100. I'm just going to get the forecast QNH. Correct QNH in Warsaw is 1016. Then we can preset that on here. Oops. There we go. If you can set standard here as well. Forecast winds, well, I'm just going to read them off the paper flight plan, which is right in front of me, just to save some time. We'll get to the right page. I need to try and listen out the frequency as well. 200, not much wind really. Just going to put the 200 and 100. Oops, make sure you start slowing down your radar climb as well. Vertical speed. And 100 winds we'll put in 2. They are 254 at 22. Now in real life, if I was doing this sector, I would have actually put all this information in on the ground, save time. Nothing wrong with doing that. Actually, we could have done that because we were waiting for so long for our clearance. Excellent. Landing on runway 33. 10 mile ring for flap 1, latest point, and a 5 mile ring for get down flap 15, as we're definitely in IMC. Landing performance, I'm going to say that's done. We're going to burn another 700 kilos, so landing at 61 tons. Yeah, auto land, we're going to use flat 40, and that's because that's what we have approval for in our company, and we'll use auto brake 2, as I'll discuss why later. Right, so the FMC is pretty much loaded, and if you remember from our stream the other day, you know how I modified the FMC? This routing, if you look here, go to Gdynia. You know, it is very busy there today, so we might expect this full arrival. Now, if it wasn't busy, we'd definitely get a shortcut to a 10-mile final. So you go Gdynia, Whiskey Alpha 533. Now, I anticipate holding, and I'm still going to modify the FMC temporarily just to put a waypoint in at Gdynia. So, Erleg. and I'm not going to execute this, but you notice how I've modified this
Roger.
and how it now says 4344. I now erase, it now says 95, but I'm going to put 44. That just means VNAV will get us nice and low and on profile if we get an early descent. Add shortcut. Oh god, my frame's getting hit a bit there. It's because Ortho 4XP is reloading everything.
Proceed direct to Bravo, squawk 5517. Sorry, taking the rest right now.
So, let's read this. VPs reinforced. Description. Arrivals. Expect our arrival at runway 33. Rapid exit taxiway Sierra 1 and Oscar 1 are not available, so we have to, in LVPs, vacate at a different exit. So, usually in Warsaw, you'd plan to vacate at Sierra 1 here, but because LVPs it's banned, so we have to vacate here, Sierra 2, or at the end at Alpha 0. Now we're going to aim for Sierra 2. I don't know why it's prohibited, it's because of the apron there. So that's something to bear in mind. Here's the start, so starting in at, it's Sorix 4 uniform, we're going to go Sorix, max 280 knots at above 210, didn't read as speed restriction 250, Whiskey Alpha 508, flight level 130 or below. So there's 210 below, there's the 130 below. ZIBO mod uses all the Navigraph subscriptions and FMC updates, so it's exactly as it would be in real life. At Edini, that's the, remember the altitude I put in there to allow for a shortcut. So we'll leave that there. 220 knots or below, probably get vectors then, and then onto the ILS via these waypoints, and then down the ILS here. Now I just want to modify this to 3,000 feet or above this leg point, otherwise the aircraft will, VNAV will aim to level off and then have a level segment, but I don't want to level off and put 3,000 feet or above there. So that's set. Now, let's set up for the Cat 3 ILS now. Oops. Why is it can't get map? Why is it like me select map? There we go. Excellent. Keep the heading bug updated. That's more for in real life because they might get you to maintain present heading very shortly. Right, let's have a look at the ILS 433. Oh, which plate was it? There we go. So this is the Cat 2, Cat 3. So we want the Cat 3. Oh, where's the weather gone? There we go. Right, these are the important ones. 110.3. There we go. ILS is tuned. Final approach course 327. 327. Refer to the minimums chart at the bottom. Now we have Cat 3 approval in this broadsword call-signed aircraft, so we can accept the Cat 3 ILS 50 feet RA minimum, so it's very close to the ground, the minimums. So if we go to radio here, you can then set the minimums here, and if you look here, this isn't available publicly yet. We've got the different minimum setting aircraft here, so we're going to get the round dial feature, which is the beta version we're actually testing on this sim, so that will hopefully be implemented and released later tonight. That will be 3.31G beta. So the minimums are set. RVR required is 200 meters, so here's the ones for Cat 2 as well, but we'll want to set the lowest to give us the best chance of getting in here. Now, yeah, as I said, the approval for this is you need all sorts of available. The aircraft has to be Cat 3 approved, everything needs to be working to allow that to happen, the aircraft needs to be qualified, the crew needs to be qualified, so there's quite a few things to think about. So minimums are set. ILS missed approach then, climb straight ahead to Kutev, left turn, max 185 knots if you're below 2000, to go outbound on, or inbound on the 096 radial to ZIBO. That's my Polish exhausted. So we'll put that on standby 14.9. 14.9, I better get a radio check. Have I missed him trying to call me again? Probably. There we go. And then taxi after vacating. Be Sierra 2 apron, will last for a stand here, short taxi. So we'll go for Sierra 2. Remember, we cannot vacate Sierra 1 in LVPs. See if I can actually get the ATIS now. What is the ATIS frequency? The real frequency is 120455.
Inbound, hold it off. 4, Airline.
Liner for your radar contact.
See if we can hear it.
Flight level 080.
I'm actually going to shut it off straight away. That's because the ATIS is written down here. So transition level 80, runway 33 ILS.
80, observe 3 Tango.
Transition level 80, wind 1307, visibility 650 metres. RVR is 900 metres, so it's actually alright for a Cat 1 ILS, but you have got fog obscuring overcast, so it's something you'd have to bear in mind. Temperature 7, dew point 7, and hectopascals 1016 as forecast. And that was information, hotel, information hotel, so that's copied. Cool, so we're pretty much all set up ready for the approach. It's a shame about this NOAA weather, reloading itself all the time. It's one thing I've always noticed in Poland. The fields are different to everywhere else in Europe. You have these long lines of fields. Always question that when I fly to Poland. I don't know why the weather's gone. It's definitely not CAV-OK in Poland.
Flex and expect runway 33, that's a runway 386.
Abbas, when do you use barrel radio? So we use radio minimums for Cat 2, Cat 3 because it's based off a DH, a height, which is what the radio altimeter measures, height above the ground. For Cat 1 and opposition approaches we use barrow minimums because it's based off altitude, so height above the QNH. Dan, change the reload interval. Let's have a look here. Configuration, VATSIM. How do I do that? No idea. But it's on.
Radar, radar. Holding runway 31, right?
Probably missed something here. But hopefully it's definitely not like this right now. So there's aircraft behind us, 2,000 feet. See if we can see it. Can't see him there. So this is X-Plane 1130, so it's all new contrails and effects and stuff, which is cool.
Calling you one passing.
MSJ, pronouncing Okechi, you'll be pretty close with O, like in Operation Okechi. Okechi. Dan, I don't know if it's possible, just a suggestion. Well, I've never seen it do this before. It's gone completely CAV-OK, which is that's not very good. It should be there. I mean, if I reselect this and I'll go back to VATSIM, see what happens. Who's just coming with a donation anyway? Michael Schlefke coming with a €10 donation. Thank you very much for that tip. That is greatly appreciated. Well, it's reloaded it. Let's go back to VATSIM. So that way we have the same weather as everyone else on the line. Yeah, not sure what happened there.
Descent level 10 over Wingba. Please descent level 170 over Wingba.
So we're actually approaching top of descent here. I haven't spoken to this guy since he cleared us up to 230. Maybe he hasn't forgotten us. So at the moment the mod just defaults to 7.8, which is very fast. I just want to slow down to 7.6 and about 270 knots, which is our descent speed. There we go. And then 6.3, otherwise we'll get the aircraft to accelerate. We just have to modify this at the moment in the mod because we don't have the official data from Boeing. There we go. So it won't jump any speeds or anything. Oh, we've got a descent there. 13067. Broadsword 01, descent flight level 170. Alright. He probably called me and I missed it, guys.
For uniform arrival, descending to flight level
And there we go.
and switching to radar 125.45.
Broadsword 01, descending flight level 170. Got blocked there, but we'll see if he heard it.
Broadsword 01, contact approach 128.8.
128.8, Broadsword 01, good day. Cool, so 128.8. And that should be Warsaw approach.
For island approach, runway 33.
Again, hopefully this guy, will, you know, he's got less to concentrate on.
Bye bye.
118 and 76, dzięki, cześć, cześć.
1183, that's tower.
UPS 4 direct
Also approach.
to 5 feet. UPS 4 direct to 5 feet and 3,000 feet.
Whiskey Alpha 5 to
3,000,
3,000 UPS 4.
Cool.
Also approach, Ascot 316.
Ascot, that. Who's that? I hear that call sign all over
Imper
London.
4
I
uniform
can't remember which airline that is.
Currently passing flight level 196 for 150.
I've got 2 radar contact flight heading 125.
Cool. So VNAV, it's descended a little bit early. I don't know why it's planning us. Yeah, should be doing 1,000 feet per minute there. Tim Fraser, hello again, going over a £5 tip donation. Thank you very much. That is greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. Need to check with this guy though, but I'm not sure why VNAV's changing so much there. It should be doing 1,000 feet per minute. It's because we're in level change, that's why. Did I put level change in? I missed that. I did, didn't I? No, the mod's working completely correctly. It's just me being a bit of a numpty.
Quality 37 Tango Warszawa radar contact.
So yeah, 1,000 feet per minute. It's because I was at level change. Ascot's the RAF, of course, of course.
UPS 4 clear target approach report when established.
Report established, this 4.
Wizard 9 uniform
Try and get in here.
now. Reduce to 5.
Reduce to 50 with the manager.
Also approach, good evening, Broadsword 01, descending flight level 170, information hotel QNH 1016, inbound to Dinri.
Broadsword 01 Warszawa radar contact flight level 150.
Descend flight level 150, Broadsword 01. Okay, so set 150 checked, and we'll stay in VNAV.
UPS 4 heavy set localizer.
UPS 4 contact fire 11813.
Tower missile 3, UPS 4.
Perfect.
Say again for longer general cross shot.
So, setting nicely, don't want to hold up. VNAV's trying to comply with this restriction, which is the next one, 130 below, so that's what that's based on. So when we capture this, it'll aim to be at 130 below at Whiskey Alpha 58, which is the restriction on the arrival. So we'll definitely have that up. There you go, see we're on the arrival now. Inbound to Dinri, max 250 knots. So yeah, decel point. Yeah, I did see someone a few seconds ago, ask a question. Is ZIBO mod any good now? It's absolutely brilliant, absolutely brilliant. 4,500 hours flying the real aircraft, well, more than that now. And I use it now. It's worked so hard, ZIBO and everyone on the team, to get this kind of level of immersion. I mean, VNAV works well. It's all just a fantastic aircraft. It should go retard arm there though for some reason, but that's probably because my thrust lever's position. But yeah, get it. It's completely free. It's completely free. It is on par with PMDG nearly. Systems are getting better. FMC needs a lot of work, but from a handling perspective, and this, it's the best you can get. Seriously, I'm not even joking when I say that. And X-Plane Lemon is by far the superior sim. You guys are sick of saying that if you're a regular viewer.
Uniform Romeo, speed minimum approach.
Good. But yeah, now I've turned the VATSIM volumes up a bit because it's so much clearer. I cannot wait until Active Sky comes out, guys, in this flickering, changing weather. So, on to go checked. We'll just level off at 150 for a short while and wait for him to give us descent. Just be a little bit more efficient.
Ryder 767 Bravo descent 3000 feet, QNH 1015.
Cool.
3,000 feet, 1.15,
This VNAV out business, I don't know what this means. We get out hold on our fleet.
12545 there, just confirming the thank you, bye bye.
Perfect. So our scheduled arrival time, based on the flight time of flight, we should be 14:27, 14:38. So about 10 minutes late. That was the departure delay in departure going into getting out of Gdansk there. So this VNAV profile, this isn't getting into Gdansk. That's because of the restriction. It's going, oh, if you want me to be at 130 below at Whiskey Alpha 508, we need to start descending. But if he's not going to clear me lower, we just say unable. Next restriction. Cool.
Okay, good afternoon, down office 017 after departure, single 7 Golf, passing 1900.
So VNAV is complying with the speed restriction as well coming up at Dinnery, so that's now bug 250, it's all working correctly. At Broadsword 01, is there a restriction? We won't make that restriction now, we're too high. Perfect. So Ilis is identified. So I'm going to delete that restriction now because he's obviously in reality they tell you well in advance if you want to make that restriction or not. Perfect. So we're getting a little bit higher now. That's based on us getting a straight in approach. So I'm not too fussed about that. So we probably won't go VNAV if we get our descent, otherwise it will dive for the profile. But that's obviously based on us getting a shortcut to a 10-mile funnel. We'll just extend downwind until we're on profile.
Flight level 60, present heading, Ascot 316.
So we're going to request descent as soon as we can. Oh god.
Austrian 1 on uniform Quebec descent height level 120.
Ah, TCAS traffic. What the hell? Don't need to do an R. So we might have to hold if someone else is being held. But we do have the fuel for that, and we can commit to Warsaw.
Alpha, leaving level 210, descending 170.
Transport Alpha Warsaw, very welcome. Hold over Impa.
Cool.
Confirm hold over Timber for Air France for Papa Alpha.
That's confirmed.
At Broadsword 01, request descent. Can we anticipate holding?
512, hold over Storik.
So our whole point is Timbu, so if we don't get cleared, it's coming up quite shortly, so that's one I would ask if we're going to expect holding.
Ryanair 76 Quebec Bravo, contact tower frequency 121020, bye bye. Correction, 128020.
128026, Ryanair 76 Quebec Bravo, goodbye.
At Broadsword 01, request descent.
47 Tango Warszawa.
This guy's busy.
47 Tango.
47 Tango to direct red stop, descent height level 150, hold over red stop.
So everyone's getting holding. We're approaching Timbu, which is the holding limit, so we're actually going to slow down in anticipation of that. There's a lot of people getting holding.
Broadsword 01, descent height level 140, hold over red stop.
Descend flight level 140, hold at Rebso, Broadsword 01. So that's set, 140 checked. Vertical speed. He wants to hold at Rebso, which isn't actually an approved hold in real life. I'm going to base it off the Timbu holding direction. So Rebso, that's going to be 2110, be 105. Oh, I really need to slow down though. Rebso, hold. 105 right. See how ZIBO's mod holds now. I haven't done one in ages. Execute. Oh, should be holding the other direction as well, slash left. Hopefully we'll get in there. Perfect. So we're going to hold at Repso like you requested. Like I said, it should be at Timbu, but not a problem. Oh, someone's gone around. Could be weather. So we've got to be a bit careful with fuel here as well. 3.7. We took that extra to allow for this. See, make sure the mod's behaving itself. No, it's going right. No, it's going left. There we go. So actually, let me just get the latest METAR from Warsaw. I don't know why that guy went around. I mean, it's 5 for Cat 3. It's 1100 meters RVR. We need 200. Should be visual. So just keeping an eye on the mod. Make sure it's behaving itself. Obviously, it's in testing vicinity, but it's doing reasonably well. Overshot slightly the turn.
Warsaw approach, lost 3 now, crosswalk established.
Oh, 115 for the Q range holding. Whoops, I wasn't sure. Some quick maths. But there isn't an official hold, so I've just kind of guessed that. Yeah, 115, you're right. We'll leave it there because I don't want to upset the mod. So the beauty of a modern aircraft like the 737, you know, it can calculate what holes you need, direct, parallel entry, offset, all for you. You just literally whack the hold, it just does it. I'd have to do a bit of a crash course to review all the holding information.
Awesome. What on unit from Cupid? Go ahead, please. Hold over TV or maintain flight level 120.
So usually if we hold like this, a controller in real life will give you something called an EAT, an estimated approach time. So you can work out, you know, if you've got sufficient fuel to hold, if you need to divert, if there's a severe disruption or something like that. We'll get round once we're on the hold, and I'll ask him, you know, I don't know if he knows what an EAT is, but I'll ask him, you know, what time can we anticipate leaving the hold. But the higher you are, the better, you know, the less fuel you burn. Put the seatbelt sign on as well. We'd advise cabin crew advise the passengers, you know, we're holding, the delay is X amount of minutes.
Warsaw approach, lock 3 on power front is established.
Tango Foxtrot, continue approach.
Continue approach, lock 3 on power front.
Perfect. So yeah, mod's doing a reasonably good job here. It's a bit crooked, but it's doing alright. At Broadsword 01, can you have an estimated approach time? If he knows what that is.
Escort 316, 1 orbit to the right and approximately approach, I don't know, maybe a minute.
Right.
1 orbit to the right, that's got 316 maintaining flight level.
Oh, traffic coming in at 2,500 feet. If he's cleared above us. So he said about 10 minutes to Ascot. How did you calculate the 105? Well, it should have been 115. I took 295 here, based off the Timbu hold, and then subtract 180. But that's 115, not 105, so my maths was slightly off, but we'll get away with 10 degrees. So you can see how, you know, climbing a little bit. That's because the thrust is coming up. It's 30 degrees. It should be a little bit. The hold it's created is quite narrow. You know, it's quite tight turns. Fine if you're doing 160 knots, but not so much at 207. So it's overshooting slightly. That traffic is scary close down. It could be like this in the hold. You have traffic 1,000 feet above you, below you, and you get stepped down. It's quite normal. So I wish, you know, fuel-wise we're still okay. Alternate fuel was 2.3, still at 3.2, so we've got at least, you know, 20 minutes. We could hold for another 20 minutes before we start going, right, now we need to start the approach or diverting. Or we can either use the alternate fuel and commit to the destination. But with the weather like this, you know, it's always a bit of a bit of decision making has to be made with regards to that. But we should be okay getting into Chopin.
Alpha 07 approaching flight level 230, request higher.
Cool.
A 6017 contact Warsaw, frequency 125.45.
125.45.
I might ask this guy when we can expect an approach. At Broadsword 01, estimated approach time?
10 minutes.
Roger. Short and sweet.
Approach, good afternoon, 2
So, I have to say, you know, it's holding reasonably well. It should be exactly on the magenta line. It's tracking on about 097 there, as opposed to 105. In the real aircraft, it's obviously perfect. Whatever you put in is exactly what it does, but it's okay. One over us, hello Mr. Pilot. Do you rate plane 11? Very highly. It's the sim to get. I mean, my current setup right now, minus the add-on scenery, is just X-Plane 11, and that's it. The rest is plugins and the mod. I'm only going to spend anything else.
Director minus 3005, bye bye with that,
So you can see why I was glad I put that extra 1,200 kilos of fuel on. If you'd taken standard block fuel, you'd be really pushing the controller. Now, look, if we don't get the approach in 5 minutes or so, we need to divert, or we need a committed time, or commit to Warsaw Chopin.
Repeat for confirm for 2
So yeah, that's why we took it. I took the extra fuel for weather, but I should have taken a little bit extra to anticipate the delay, because it was obviously so busy in Warsaw.
Sorry, hold over Binta.
Yeah, sorry, we are behind. We are inbound now.
Who's that coming in with another donation?
We have passed Binta.
Mark Spinnaker coming in with another 5 CHF. Need a coffee for the hold? Absolutely. I could do. We'll put my feet up. Yeah, don't hold too often in real life. Really depends where you fly into.
1405
There
contact
you go.
Warsaw frequency 130.675, bye bye.
So you can see here, look, there's our routing from the sim. Yeah, I mean, it looks tidy on here. We're into the hold.
Have a good day.
Don't know what that aircraft is.
Roll 401 in holding, descent flight level 80.
Descend, fly level 80, continue hold at Repso, Broadsword 01. So, cleared to descend, so set 80, checked level change. Oh, there's the weather being rebuilt again.
For Papa, hold, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Now silent on the radio. Great. Canadian 78 Foxtrot contact director frequency.
Oh, there's another TCAS R8. You disconnect everything. We need to fix this or get ZIBO on this soon. Especially as we're flying more of VATSIM.
375 hours payment.
What's the departure runners to the Tango Bravo, departure mod in inbound Mike Oscar 866, passing below direction 2500.
Good. So I was hoping to be on stand at this time and having a break, but we'll still fly flight into Krakow and stuff, but we'll get really tight for weather there. We might end up diverting. Cool.
Quality 47 Tango in holding, descent flight level 90.
This guy is super busy. Actually, I'm going to check the weather in Krakow now. Let's have a look. Krakow's only got ILS Cat 1, but yeah, it's actually okay at the moment. 6,000 metres, no cloud, so you know you can get away with pretty much all approaches, but it will, visibility is forecast to drop off later.
Austrian 438 in holding, descent flight level 100.
So there's the outbound leg again. Hopefully, he said about 10 minutes, a few minutes ago. I'm hoping he sends us down, sends us straight off from there.
Austrian 11 uniform Quebec, contact
some more traffic just crossing above us, 2,500 feet above us.
129er, 375, off 11 uniform Quebec, bye bye.
He sounds very Austrian.
Bro, Scoot 316 left heading 320.
So Ascot, wherever he is, he's getting
Heading
vectors.
320, Ascot 316.
Warsaw 01, descent flight level 80.
Descending flight level 80, broadsword 01. So as cleared, probably forgot.
Scoot 316, descent 7000 feet, MH1016.
Descend altitude 7,000 feet, QNH1016, Ascot 316.
This one here, Rav Kangaroo coming in with a £5 tip of donation. Excellent work. Thanks. Not doing too much at the moment. I'm just sat here watching the aircraft do the hold itself. But we'll see as we get in there how the autoland works. And yeah, the autoland in the mod I've had mixed results. Hopefully it won't hammer it down too hard. Cool. So actually, just get an update on the weather. I'll just tune this briefly. Should come up on here. So runway 13, 1100 meters, patches of fog, overcast 200 feet. So yeah, still okay for a Cat 3.
Scoot 316, contact director, frequency 129.375.
So director's online.
129.375 for Ascot 316, thank you very much.
Could go to him next, or tower.
Scoot 01, exit holding, continuous contact arrival.
Just confirm for broadsword 01. He said Ascot 01, didn't he?
Scoot 01, broadsword 01, exit holding, continuous contact arrival.
Exit holding, continue on the rifle, broadsword 01. So I'm cheating here. I'm using heading select because it was about to turn left there. And the next waypoint on the rival was Bexon. Execute and then engage LNAV. It shouldn't really do it that way, but he gave us the clearance quite late. So anyway, we're on the arrival. Still pretty high. Just going to accelerate to around... Oh, no, wrong button. 220 knots. Don't want to go too crazy because we only cleared 2,000 feet below. Okay, fuel. Yeah, we can do the post-cruise checks now, so it's passing 100 lights. Put the logo on now, it's getting dark. APU is off, pressurization. Set seatbelts on, recall. We have approximately 10 minutes to landing now, guys. 10 minutes to landing. Aviator Aaron, we'd love to see you hand fly any day. I will one stream, but not this because of the weather. It would be very foolish to hand fly this. What's the weather rebuilding stuff again? Rick Van Ackren, can you tell the operation procedure anti-ice or wing just due to rain and ice conditions? If you look at my video tutorials, I have a tutorial dedicated to use of engine and wing anti-ice. You'll find that there. So, 1 to go. Just going to update the target descent speed to 220 knots. That's roughly what we're doing.
Roll source 01, contact director, frequency 129.375.
Director 129.375, broadsword 01. Dziękuję. Dziękuję, is that thanks? Goodbye, I can't remember. Yeah, here's director.
220.
Speed 220, Ascot 316.
Warsaw Director, good evening. Broadsword 01, descending flight level 80, direct to Bexon, speed 220 knots.
Break, Austrian 11, uniform Quebec. Reduce your speed 200 or less.
It's been very, very busy again.
4,000 feet, QNH 1016. Speed 200 or less, descent 4,000 feet, QNH.
Good. South quiet out, hold. Just maintain 220. They could break you off this at any point here, so they wouldn't break you off here at 10 miles, you're way too high at 80. Excuse me. Cool.
And these are 3,000 feet.
So yeah, extra 1.2 tons of fuel I took. If we didn't take that, we'd be on 2.2 now, which is the reserve. We'd be using our alternate fuel now. So yeah, very glad we took that little extra bit of juice.
Rockford 01, hello, radar contact, distance 5,000,
Descend altitude 5,000 feet, QNH 1016, broadsword 01. I think that's what he said. In real life, you would always confirm that. You would never ever guess. All right, but he's busy and it's VATSIM, so we'll give him guess that it's 5,000 feet. So QNH 1016. We are passing altitude 7,900 feet for 5,000 feet. Standby instruments and altimeter is set. So yeah, because it wasn't clear, you'd always confirm you cleared altitude if you're not sure. There's no second guesses. But he didn't. I did say 5,000 clearly, and if it was incorrect, he should correct me. But I would have, if I had this level of doubt in the real aircraft, I'd confirm it.
Director, good afternoon. To eject 5 Alpha Charlie, descending 110.
There's 5 of you holding at Sorex. Right, Michael, hope you well, my friend. Yeah, I think I was the only one holding in holding at Tindu, or wherever it was, Repso. I'm glad I'm ahead of you.
Rockford 01, distance 3,000, right heading 300, island approach.
Oh my god. Okay, descend altitude 3,000 feet. We need to maintain this heading for another 10 miles. We're a little bit high, broadsword 01, so I'd never make that if we got that heading.
Rockford 01, if you wish, okay, continue procedure.
I will call ready for base turn, broadsword 01. So he's ready for us. I'm just going to go flap 1.
Okay, so call me when ready.
Wilco, broadsword 01. So yeah, I couldn't accept a turn like that. If you're too high, you can't accept a turn. You'd never make it. So just advise, you need a few more track miles. We'll update the FMC accordingly. I've gone flap 1, 220 knots, so it just gets the descent going. And we're just going to go after Lembu, direct to Erleg. See how we are. Yeah, we're getting back onto profile, so I'm just going to go heading so we don't turn just yet as well. So that way we're kind of simulating we're still going in this direction. So I can give him flap 5, and we should be able to accept the turn now.
Stand by, Black Ascot 316 from current position, left heading 360 cleared island approach in the call when established.
So we're now getting okay on the profile.
Call when established, ILS 33, Ascot 316.
Ascot 316, 360.
So we'll tell him we're ready for the base turn, but he might now extend us because he's cleared someone else. Broadsword 01, we can now accept the base turn.
Broadsword 01, okay, so right heading 360 call when established ILS and distance 3,000.
Riding 360 degrees, descend altitude 3,000 feet on the heading, cleared ILS 33, broadsword 01. Okay, so we're all good. He's cleared another Ascot aircraft as well.
Broadsword 01, correction for heading 300.
Heading 300 degrees, broadsword 01. Yeah, that wouldn't really work otherwise, should have sorted that. So this is looking much better now. We're actually a little bit low. That's because we asked to extend downwind. So I'm just using VS just to set a sensible rate of descent. Yeah, we're about 20 miles away, so we're plenty low enough now. So yeah, when he initially gave us our base turn cleared approach, we were way too high. We would never have made it. So we just request to extend downwind slightly, but now we're a little bit far out. That's quite a shallow intercept, but that works well for us for around a 10 mile there. So just a nice shallow descent. We're still maintaining a continuous descent. We haven't leveled off. So long as you're doing, don't level off, that's fine. I'm actually going to bug about 180 knots now because we're still quite far out. Okay, so we are cleared approach, a little bit far out. And don't forget, if you want to do an autoland, guys, after you've armed approach, to engage the second autopilot, but you arm approach first. Michael Goppa, if you need to maintain at least 160 till 4, yeah, I think is that Chopin's specific thing. I haven't actually read it, but I'll probably go 160 very shortly. Still 20 miles out. So you see what I've gone VS, just set as very shallow rate temperature, very low. Right, approach checks we do now as well. Frequencies are set 110.3, the ILS, oops, which is, oh, which check was the ILS, there we go. Make sure you got the correct ident, Whiskey Alpha, yeah, we've got Whiskey Alpha, fixed wings in as well. They're all set for runway 33, 10 and 5 miles, no instruments set, courses are set too, so the approach checklist is complete. We'd usually wait until a little bit closer, but I am going to arm approach now and command A and B, just so I don't forget. So all ready for the approach. Right, just entering some cloud here, 5 degrees, so we definitely need the engine anti-ice on. Turn up the panel brightness, is getting a bit darker. Here's the localizer coming alive. Traffic again. Very sensitive TCAS. Okay, localizer capture, set runway heading 327. And we will set the missed approach altitude. Well, it's already set 3,000 feet, so we'll just wait until we set the glide slope here. Broadsword 01, localize established, runway 33, 15 miles. I ain't get a word. Oh, he's contacting the other guy, that's fine. Tower 1183, it's already soon. Broadsword 01, localizer established, runway 33. So the real aircraft, when two people talk, you can't hear anyone because only one person could talk, so he could actually block me. Quite a game, can you land with anti-ice on? Absolutely, no problem. Broadsword 01. Oh, I got every time. I'll let him finish. Good, so glide slope capture, missed approach altitude, 3,000 feet. Could definitely. Oh yeah, 160 knots by 4. So flap 5. Oh yeah, go flap 10, guys. We've got a big tailwind there. Didn't anticipate that.
Level 702855 Alpha Charlie.
Broadsword 01, established ILS 33, 10 miles. Oh, you can see the lights. That's cheating. Tower 18.3, Broadsword 01, Chiquia. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I think I'll be able to call continue. So you couldn't see that in real life. I actually did a practice approach yesterday in low visibility, and I couldn't see the lights until 200 feet. That's a shame because I wanted to come out of the lights. I'll put that down to the default weather. Right, anyway, better check in with Okechi Tower. Or is it? Yeah, it is Okechi Tower. I'll try and do it correctly. Okechi Tower, Broadsword 01, ILS 33, 8 miles. Oh, we've lost the runway now.
Last calling station, Bravo Romeo 001, very welcome, Okechi Tower. Continue approach, your number 2, minimum approach speed.
Continue.
Brake, Eurowings.
Well, you can't get me there. Minimum approach speed, guys. So if he wants me to say continue approach, he can't say brake. He's let my reback. Right, get down flat 15, landing chest flap, start switches, continuous recall check, speed brake arm, green light, landing it down 3, order brake is 2 set, holding flaps 25. So I wouldn't configure usually this because he wants minimum approach speed. Right, below 162, so we can go flat 40. And VREF plus 5 knots. Now can't see the runway anymore, so fingers crossed. You mutilated that place name. Brilliant. So he said continue approach, but he should let me read that back. Ooh, it could be a bit sketchy. It is low visibility. I think it goes worth saying, guys, when there's two of you, You usually get the...
Coach Rider 01, you are clear to land and 3 station 10 degrees 8 knots. Report it again.
Runway 33, clear to land, broadsword 01. Okay, so clear to land checklist is complete. What was I saying? Can't remember. Cannot remember. Yes, sorry, first officer usually flies Cat 3 approaches. The idea is he's on instruments all the way till taxi speed, like this, looking in there, whilst the captain, he's got his head over the windscreen looking outside for the approach lights there. So that's how it would be done in real life. Fingers crossed 8, so we can go all the way to 50 feet. Excellent. So this is what ZIBO mod has just given me on the beta version. It's the brand new radio altimeter, which is an option there instead of the angle attack indicator. I don't know how he did it. I said, could you give it to me, this feature? In 10 minutes he gave me a beta and he's managed to get this here. Amazing. Anyway, 50 feet's the minimums. If we can't see anything by 50, we are going around. So 500 radio flare armed, passing 480 radio flare armed. It's looking sketchy.
400.
So you'd be hand on the thrust lever guarding toga. My toga button's here, so I'll leave the mouse there.
300. 200.
Looking sketchy. Ah, visual. We'll be able to continue, guys.
100.
Excellent. So let's watch the auto land.
Minimum.
Flare.
10.
Retard. Oh, ZIBO, you legend. Very nice. Speed brake up. Disconnect the autopilot, auto throttle. That's because it's what we do in airline. Reverses. Centerline. Just going to go idle reverse, guys. ZIBO, you legend. There's Sierra 1, which we cannot take. That's not available in low visibility in the real aircraft. Disengage braking. Here's the next high-speed exit. Cancelling reverse now. And here's Sierra 2. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Warsaw Chopin.
Coach Rider 01, package Sierra 2, hold short of Alpha and contact with venture ground frequency 121.9. Thank you so much, sir. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Vacate Sierra 2, hold short Alpha, and then ground on 121.9 broadsword 01, Chiquio. Okay, so you said hold short of Alpha.
Thank you so much.
And Alpha's just here, so we just got to hold short of this line there, and then we'll contact ground and then clean up. That's where it gets difficult. Ground is 1219.05. I should have actually set that up. You wouldn't usually stop here because I'm blocking the exit. Ugh. Why did I not preset this? There we go. 905. Go straight in here. Warsaw ground. Good evening. Broadsword 01. Vacated runway 33 at Sierra 2, holding short Alpha. Hello.
Hello, welcome to Warsaw, taxi test number 703 via Sierra and Alpha. 703, Sierra and Alpha.
God. Sierra Alpha. Okay, very difficult to hear you. Stand 703 via the Sierra Alpha. Could you confirm?
That's confirmed. Now Sierra and then left Alpha.
Sierra left at Alpha for stand 703, broadsword 01. Okay, so I have no idea what that is. So left onto Alpha. Just going to have to get the other... Where the hell is that stand 703? Oh, found it, guys. So it's left here, and it's a remote stand. Remote stand. So we better get out this way. Try not to set more than 40% when you're taxiing as well.
Block 81 Golf, on block time 55.
So I've got the chart here in front of me, guys, but it's up here. Oh, you got it there. Look, 703. So we're vacated at Sierra 2, down here for a little bit, very short taxi. Then 703 will be in from this taxiway here, so we'll just look out for the numbers on the apron. So 701.
Ascot
APU
316
started.
shutting down, stand 701. Thank you very much for the service.
Perfect.
Ascot 316, contact Warsaw.
702.
I'm just shutting down. Thank you very
So
much.
yeah, clean up, guys. That would be the first officer's job. I'll try and do it as realistic as possible as well. Flaps up. Check the hydraulics. Flight directors off. Here's 703. So yeah, remote stand. We don't get a nice terminal here. That's a shame because I wanted an air bridge, but yeah, we're a peasants airline at Flight Deck to Sim. We don't we don't pay the extra money for the terminal. Anyway, here's 703.
Będzie grał dobry wieczór, 3835, request.
Excellent. And again, as I've explained, you'd always have a marshaller here to guide you on. I think I've done everything on the overhead panel.
3835, start roof, no block time. 0.
Peasant stand. Excellent. So where do I actually stop exactly? I want to get a little bit off the taxiway, so we'll probably go a little bit ahead of the stop point there.
Qatari 264, taxi holding point, runway 29er, via taxiway.
Oh, it could be on there at 703. I'm not 100% sure. It's up there, maybe. Got to be. So you see on this, you've got to be really careful with your wingtip here on this gas thing. For some reason, I'm having to use a lot of thrust to taxi as well. I don't know if it's upslope.
And ground,
But
lot 387.
we're just going to go a little bit further forward. You'd be very careful of your wing there, though. And whether you get pushed back off the stand, I think you would. We'll find out later. Right, I'll bring it to a stop there. Parking brake set. And this can go off, and we'll get the engine shut down. 2 blues, 1 red, engine's dead. There we go. Light off. That usually comes a bit later. And then here we are. Anyway, let's have a look outside. Don't forget to turn your taxi light off as well. Here we go, guys. Anyway, in Warsaw Chopin safely. Look at the weather. Ugh. Stand 703, or what I think it is. And then we'll do the turnaround here. But I will take a 10-minute break very shortly. Log off VATSIM. We'll do a replay of the landing, and then we'll get started again in a few minutes. I'll just tell this guy we're checking out. Broadsword 01 now on stand 703 logging off. We'll be doing the return sector in about 20 minutes. Thanks for the service.
Thanks for flight to Warsaw and have a great evening.
Good, so he knows what's going on. We'll get a GPU. This 2 off. We'll get off VATSIM for now. Disconnect. Excellent. And if I go here to replay. We'll put some funky music on. Oh yeah. Perfect. We'll do it from about 740 feet. And we'll look in the passenger view as well. It'll be pretty cool. Molix 2000 coming in with a $10 donation. Great landing. Terminal on me for the next landing. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's where all your tips went towards the scenery there. So let's have a look. Excellent. And the mod worked really nicely on the autoland. Wasn't too drastic at all. Oh, nice and firm. That's how we want a landing though. Speed brakes up. Reverse is normal. Can't even see the view from the tower. Yeah. Well done, ZIBO. Great mods. Anyway, we'll end the replay there. So guys, I'm going to take a 5-10 minute intermission, get everything ready for the return, well no, not return flight, for the flight to Krakow, check the weather, and see how we'll get on. So I'll see you back in about 5 or 10 minutes. Thank you very much.
Ground Skyway 4 November Kilo is ready to taxi.
Skyway 14 November, okręć ground fellow. Taxi Alpha Echo to Holding Runway to liner.
Taxi via Alpha 3 Alpha 4 via holding point runway 29 Skyway 4 November Kilo.
Thank you, Josh. Ground, lot 3835, jak z wypychaniem?
Well, hello again, guys. I'm back. Thanks for that little intermission. Bladder's emptied. Had some food, had a quick drink, and just to remind my partner, she can't go on Netflix for another hour because she'll eat all the bandwidth off. Because obviously we got massively delayed getting into Warsaw and Gdansk. So that's it. I've not touched the aircraft. It's exactly where we left it. Just logged back into VATSIM with the new call sign. Still really busy here as well. So PM's doing the walk around. He's pretty cold out there, so be wearing his coat. Put the dome light on as well. So transit setup, start with the EFIS control panel. We don't want the radio altimeter. Actually, I completely forgot to do it in Gdansk, but I forgot to set the MFRA, which is your elevation plus 1,000 feet. So we'll just set 1370 or so. Well, why can't I see that? It should come up with the height on the bottom there. I accidentally pushed this. I'm not sure. I've lost the minimums height, so that's a little glitch there. Oh well, we might not be able to set the minimums later, but you should be. I've lost it, so I think that might be to do with the fact. Where's the green bar? But I'm not getting the numbers, and I think that's because ZIBO's been fixing the radio altimeter. So that could be a bit of a pain when we're setting the minimums going into Krakow, but we'll work on that later. So we'll leave that off for now. Better get the ATIS as well. So the ATIS 120455.
Missed. Broken.
So again, instead of listening to him, we could just see what it's written down here. So information Juliet at 14:30. Arriving on 33, departures runway 29 as expected. 71 1206. QNH is 1016 and temperature 8 degrees. So not much has changed since we left there. We better get clearance delivery up as well, which I know the real life frequency is 120.6, but I just want to check what it is on VATSIM. Oh my god, look how busy it is on the VAT map here. Flipping heck. That is insane. I can't even see the frequency there, so I think I can go here, plugins, Squawk Box, see who's online, center, delivery, here we go, Hubert 121.6, he'll get us our clearance later on. Oops, finger trouble, 121.6. So we'll get that a little bit later, but we need to load up everything first. There we go. Okay, delivery. Excellent. So, what do I get to? EFIS is set. Now we'll go straight into the FMC. So, We want to go menu, FMC. There we go, first page is there. We're now in Chopin, so EPWA. And we're routing to Krakow, which is Echo Papa Kilo Kilo. Our call sign, the Broadsword 02. Departure, runway 29er. It's the Avena 7 Golf. Our routing, just going to read it straight from the flight plan, which is in front of me. It's just Mike 66 to Kukam, and then the arrival into Krakow. Arrival ILS 25 Kilo Kilo 502, and the arrival is the Kuka 2 Golf, Kukam 2 Golf route. Activate, execute legs. No discontinuities, all looking good for now. So, keep it simple. I've left the loads exactly the same. So we've got 150 passengers, some bags and cargo. That gives us about, say, 16 kilos, 16 tons payload. So the zero fuel weight is 57.4, same as before. Reserves.
I'm sorry, say again from Lock 4 Tango Flash.
We need this chart. So close this one. Here's the second flight plan. Can't remember what it was off the top of my head. Reserves for our alternate, which is Katowice, which actually has Cat 2, and it's very close to Krakow, so if we can't get in on the Cat 1, we'll go here. That's 2.3 tons.
Squawk 5563.
And as I said, we've got a little bit extra fuel. Take an extra 1,200 kilos of fuel again, just to anticipate delays. 30 for the cost index. Flight level 200, very low cruise. It's a very short flight. Top of climb wind, I'll just read it off the flight plan right in front of me. 248 at 19. That's it. Open the door as well. And the ISA deviation is +2. I haven't actually done the OPT performance here. So, Boeing OPT, we're in Warsaw Chopin, runway 29 for departure, dry. I'm going to put -5 for the wind, just to be conservative, temperature 8 degrees, QNH 1016. Calculate. So this is giving us, based on our takeoff weight, which I've already forgotten, of 62.7. It says that we can go full 22k, 8, with an assumed temperature of 41 degrees, which gives us 87.1. Oops. 87.1. That's well off. Why is that so far off? Not sure. Actually, it's so far off. It's within outside of 3%. So I'm just going to lower the assumed temperature slightly. I'm going to put 30. Just to get a bit closer to what the actual OPT is saying. No, 22k, 91.5. Yeah, we'll go with that. I'm not sure why it's so different. Generally with the OPT, it works the mod, unless you take very high assumed temperatures. But that's close enough. We've got 87.1. This is a bit more. That's conservative. Take off flat 5 again, and the V speeds, I've got 38, 38, 42 on the OPT. This is 36, 37, 44. So usually in a knot, you'd have to take the OPT speeds, but we'll get away with a couple of knots today. And V2 is 142. So that's the FMC loaded. Who's coming in with a donation here? It's not come up on my thing here. JDC8, but I haven't got the message come up. Has Nightbot your message or something? I saw someone said something there. Thank you so much. It was an £8 donation. I didn't read the message. It hasn't come up on my chat thing here. Give me a message on Facebook and I'll get back to you. Sorry about that. Thank you very much for the tip and donation, JDC8, whatever your message was. I can't read it, sorry. Right, FMC set up for now. Overhead panel then. Don't have to do much on the transit. Pop this on now. Fueling is complete. Oops, forgot to do that on the clean-up probes off. Open the isolation valve. That's all set. Now, departure. Avitab. It's the Avena 7 Golf. And I'll just get the chart up on my iPad as well, guys. So it says initial climb is to an altitude of 6,000 feet. So that's the stop altitude. So climb to 6,000 feet. So we'll set that here. And we haven't got a clearance, so we'll set 6-1. That's just a reminder, so we haven't been cleared for the SID yet. Runway heading 289. And it's another RNAV SID, so again, no nav aids needed for departure. So we'll set 289 there. And I'll just reset that. I don't think there's any nav aids based on this. It just says for the SID, RNAV 1 required, we have that approval. Soon as possible, contact Warsaw approach after takeoff. So or as instructed by ETC, so we'll see what they're doing on VATSIM today. And it just simply says, these are all RNAV points, 901, 921, EDX. There's no requirement to tune any nav aids, so we'll just leave it there with the ILS tuned. Oh no, not the ILS, because it's a different runway. We'll put 1149 instead. So that's the SID discussed and talked about. Auto brake to RTO, reset the fuel flow indicator. I don't need approach mode on this anymore. That's all set on the FMC, and the nav aids too. So we do have to do the clearance now. Just going to read some of the messages. Some questions there. TLP beats flight sim. I've calculated the brake distance. Maybe you can use it on approach formula. 0.5 weight. What? Don't ask me about that sort of stuff. That's really digging back to ATPL. Steve Warren, Ascot 306. That was me. It's an RAF call sign. It was used there, so cool. That's very good. You sounded very professional on the radio. Very nice RT. Pretty foggy out. Yes, it is. Some of the questions about the ZIBO mod. So that's all good. Right, so we'll get the clearance. We're on stand 703, and we have information Juliet. Perfect. Just make sure that's tuned there. Good. O'Kessie delivery. Good evening. Broadsword 02. We're on stand 703. Information Juliet. QNH 1016. Departure clearance to Krakow, please. Hello.
Departure runway 29, Evina 7 Golf, standard departure 4573.
573. I guess 0. Cleared to Krakow, Evina 7 Golf departure, and confirm the squawk 5730, Broadsword 02.
May I leave the squawk is 4573.
Oh god.
4573.
4573. Squawk 4573, Broadsword 02. I guess read back correct.
Warsaw 02, read back correct. For start of the pushback, contact potential ground at frequency 121.9.
For push a start ground on 121.9, Broadsword 02. Good evening. Excellent. So we've got the clearance. Squawk is set. 4573. The Evina 7 Golfers briefed 6,000 feet. Now, I'm guessing it is pushback from this stand. There's a little Ryanair aircraft next to us. I think it is pushback from this stand. That's more down to the fact that there is a giant lamppost here, but we could get past easily. I have no idea if I'm facing the right way or not. We'll see what he says, and then we'll plan the pushback. But I'm guessing it's pushback. Looking at the chart here. We're on 703. Well, I've got a different chart here. This is a Jefferson chart, but I've got the Navtech chart from my iPad. It is pushback to face southeast on Alpha, but we'll confirm the clearance with the ground crew. So we'll have a guess. We're going to go home. Well, we could at least get the pushback tug here and then do it anyway, can't we? Home, ground services, better pushback, pre-plan. No, connect first. That's what we want. Excellent. And we're just going to put the anti-collision light on. Again, you wouldn't usually do it at this stage, but it's what triggers the boarding to terminate with the ZIBO mod. Better get the EPU on as well. Still these comments. Jeez. Rick Van Ackman, is it possible to link Navigraph charts to the Avitab? Yes, it is. That's exactly what I've done. If you go on Explain 11 forum, Avitab, follow his instructions. He'll tell you exactly what you need to do there.
Ground, Ryanair 361, vacated runway
That's not him.
3, requesting taxi to stand.
Ryanair 2361.
So we've put tower as the next frequency, which is 1183.
Via Sierra, Oscar and Mike.
And 17 Sierra, Oscar, and Mike.
Excellent. So APU just need to wait for that to start up. Jesus, if you go on that VAT map, guys, it's like a bees or wasps' nest, Warsaw. There's just so many aircraft on VATSIM today. Incredible. Perfect. So, better pushback's doing its thing outside. Okay, it's lifting us up. APU should be available. They wouldn't be lifting you up if you had the GPU still connected. Oh no, where is it? Ground services disconnect. Right. I'll check in with this guy. And it was stand 703. Perfect. Warsaw ground, good evening. Broadsword 02. Stand 703. Request push and start.
Warsaw 002, okręcie ground, hello. Start is approved QNH 1016, and I think pushback is not required.
Okay, engine start approved, QNH 1016, engine start standby call ready for taxi, Broadsword 02. Well, that confirmed my suspicions.
Roger, call ready for taxi.
Cool, better pushback, terminate.
Lottery 7 contact.
I hope he just disappears, but we'll see in a second. But we'll get the engine started anyway whilst he's doing his business. So air conditioning packs off, APU bleed on, parking brake set, transponder is out, off. So yeah, I'd probably in real life know if it was a pushback because there'd be a tug there or not, but I kind of guessed that. Right, anyway, we'll start the engines. Place engine number 2. Disconnect hand signals, see you later. So N2 rotation. N1.
Tango Foxtrot, startup is approved, startup and pushback is approved, QNH 1016, facing
All pressure. 25%. There we go. Whilst he's lowering us again, but never mind. Excellent. Wicked. It's a shame we haven't got the terminal over there because all the terminals there, they had all the little passengers in there. It was pretty cool. Well, I don't know about Warsaw. That's probably where all the legacy carriers and long-haul airlines are kept. Right, starter cut out. Monitor engine number 2. 2 looks stable. Starting engine number 1. Someone asked which version of X-Plane is it? It's the latest one, the one with all the new particle effects, 11.3 something, and this is a pre-beta version. I personally not had any problems with the new X-Plane, but I didn't update it. I think it just does it through Steam automatically. Excellent, 25%. One thing I like about these streams, I'm very chilled out compared to real life. It's hard work. This is far more hard work than it is doing in real life, though. Abbas Abuka, does dual bleed from APU and engine bad for the aircraft? Yes, very bad. But like this, it's fine, so long as you don't go more than above the idle thrust. That's the only way to get the engine started with the APU. Right, starter cut out, monitor 1, it's all stable. Let's go. So APU off. Continuous. We'll need the wing and engine anti-ice on again.
Lot 4, Tango Foxtrot, please set squawk 4563.
Set, flaps. 5 required, 5 selected, trim. Forgot to set the trim. So we'll get about 6 units here. Again, that's very off the cuff. I just know that works for roughly with this configuration and C of G. Flight controls, forward, back, left, right, rudder. Left centre for right centre recall, like the lower DU, and then you do the before taxi checklist, which I'm confident in now that I think it's all done, as opposed to Gdansk where I was being constantly heckled to and talked to. Right, so airport, we are facing this kind of northeasterly direction, so I'm guessing it's going to be Mike 1, Mike Alpha. We'll get the taxi routing. I've got the charts open here as well, so we should know where we're going to be going. Okechi Ground, Broadsword 02, request taxi. Oh, I really offended him. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Okechi.
Warsaw 02, taxi Mike Zulu Alpha Echo holding point runway 29er and hold short of Oscar.
Taxi Mike Zulu Alpha Echo, hold short of 29er, hold short of Oscar at Broadsword 02. Right, so he's cleared us to go Mike. Just looking at my chart first, guys. And then he said Zulu Alpha, found that. And then to Echo, but he said hold short of Oscar. So he shouldn't give us the rest of the taxi clearance. So he told us to hold at Oscar, but he shouldn't give us the rest of the clearance. So he should just say hold at Oscar. So Oscar's here, look. So we're going to go on this bit of taxiway, hold short of Oscar intersection. But we're going to go straight ahead. Mike, Zulu, hold short of Oscar. Alright, so parking brake released. Config, no takeoff config warning horn. Let's get going.
And for you is number 44. Stand 44,
so we're going to go straight ahead to Mike, make a right turn, and then on to Zulu.
Correct.
So yeah, he should have said Mike, Zulu Alpha, hold short of Oscar, but he did say Echo 29 as well.
Warsaw Ground, Lot 4, Tango Fox, shot ready for taxi.
Lot 4 Tango Foxtrot, taxi to holding point runway 29er via uniform Zulu, Alpha and Echo, hold short over Alpha. Brake, negative, lot 4 Tango Foxtrot, hold short over
So I think because I've got the proper scenery, looking at the other traffic, it's all correctly, the elevation's a lot better. It's not floating like it did in Gdansk and all the other airports I've been to. I don't know, it's because the elevation's correctly coded here on this scenery. You forgot the flight directors. Brilliant spot, whoever that was. Yeah, brilliant spot. So yeah, I usually check the routing, do an instrument cross-check to spot that. But I would have noticed when I pushed LNAV, it wouldn't engage. So yeah, I've rushed that a little bit there. So guys, I'm going the pace I would usually go in real life without doing the full checks and checklists. So there might be some little mistakes here. Very good spot, whoever that was, Rick Van Eckeren. Be embarrassing. I got to the runway and realised one of the engines was turned off. Anyway, here we are. So right onto Zulu very shortly. And we want Zulu 1 for that. And you can see probably why he wants us to hold short of Oscar.
Around 21st of Tango, we need 2 minutes. Our brakes are a little hot, so we can't really move. Is that okay?
Quality 47 Tango negative, please log off if you want to brake. Currently is event, so we are very busy on this threshold.
So here's Zulu. For some reason, I've noticed when you taxi in, I'm having to use a lot of thrust to move here. You should be accelerating quite quickly with 40%. So I say pitot heat. I forget the pitot heat. No, pitot heat's on. Pitot heat's on there.
Good evening, Happy Independence, November 820 Mike Hotel, Oscar 1, taxi, looking for apron 1, stand 80.
Oh, who the hell's that?
November 820 Mike Hotel Ground, hello.
Cool, so we're on the taxiway now and just approaching Oscar. There's Alpha. 3, and Oscar's going to be the next point here. So you see these little lights here. This is Oscar, so we're going to hold short here.
Lot 4 Tango Foxtrot, continue, taxi. November 8 to...
Yeah, it looks like all the aircraft are on the correct height here, which is pretty cool. Apart from the gear being up on the 7.4, but... So here's Oscar here, so we're going to hold short here. Yeah, it's so good when you've got proper scenery, all the proper markings as well. So much easier to taxi.
Mike Hotel negative, and for you is number 37.
37 for Mike Hotel, so that's on Oscar, join Alpha, stand 37.
So we're just going to hold short here.
Ground, good afternoon.
So I'm going to give way to this guy.
Mike, stand 704, ready for push and start.
Runner 5 Sierra Mike, start запись approved in H1016, and I think pushback is not
Quick sip of the water.
need, so call when ready for taxi.
It's super busy, yes, Abbas, it is. Super busy.
Push and start, approved, book call for taxi, Ryanair 5 Sierra Mike.
Broadsword 01 on the Alpha taxiway holding short Oscar.
Warsaw 002,
02.
give away bottom 60 from your right.
A whole position giving way to the Delta 76 Broadsword 02, whatever that is. I think he said something else, but that might be a generic registration. So he wants us to hold position.
Quality 47 Tango, hold
Set the parking
position,
brake.
where are you taxiing?
Last Lindenberg, how fast do you normally taxi?
Hold position.
So taxiway up to 30 knots maximum, apron 15, backtracking on the runway goes as fast as 50. I don't think that is a Delta 73. He's done very well to get here, if it is. So he told us the hold position. Don't know if there's anyone else. So I'm just going to check the weather in Krakow. Also waiting here. Seems okay at the moment. 5,000 meters missed. Should be fine for a Cat 1 ILS, but it is forecast to get foggy after 2000 Zulu. That's in about 4 hours' time, so we should be absolutely fine going into Krakow. So I don't know why there's such a
Quality 47
delay.
Tango, where are you taxiing? Hold position.
Oh dear.
Quality 47 Tango, use stand number 47.
So yeah, I mean, I give you a little bit of break because it is difficult taxiing exactly correctly.
Warsaw 002, continue taxi, sorry.
Broadsword 02, taxiing the holding point Echo 29. No worries. So release parking brake before you start moving. Yeah, when you commence taxi, guys, usually 30 to 35% is what you need to get moving. I don't know why it is. It seems to be requiring a little bit more in Warsaw. I don't know if it's the slope or something, but setting about 40 to get us going. So the rest of the taxi routing then, Alpha, it bends round to Echo, and then it'll be holding point Echo for runway 29, which is all the way here. Okay, so we can do the before takeoff checklist. So configs checked, flaps we have 5.5, green light, stab trim set for takeoff, got about 6 units set. Takeoff briefing, PAX auto, bleeds on, the V-speeds are set for takeoff, 136, 137, 144 set. The departure of Vina 7 Golf, climb straight ahead to Whiskey Alpha 921, then to EVDEX, and climbing to altitude 6,000 feet, which is set on the MCP. We'd also set in the FMC as well, but we'll just leave it there for now. And Squawk is in. 4573. Weather seems to have improved. LVP is probably still in force in reality, but we're happy with the taxi routing, so that's reviewed. And cabin secure. I did see someone comment about the pace I'm doing things. You know, I could slow down, I guess, but my tutorials are more better pace, so you can really look your time. I really like replicating what I do in real life. I can slow it down a tad to explain what I'm doing. If you wish, it's really what the feedback is. When I started my tutorials, I fully was far too fast. I didn't know really what pace to set it at, but I've definitely worked on doing that. I'm doing more live streams now than before because it is from a planning.
Warsaw 002, you missed the Echo taxi. On the next crossway, turn left, join November, next right.
I've just missed. I've just messed up, guys. Okay, yeah, sorry, I was a little lost there. Just going to cross at November to Echo 2. So that's why I should not be talking, guys. I've missed the turn.
Correct.
So I'm going to make a left here. That's, guys, that's really embarrassing. So sorry. So yeah, this is why we have sterile cockpit. I'm just about to enter an active runway. So I'm going to turn left here. Unbelievable professionalism. Unbelievable. That's really embarrassing.
Alpha Echo to runway 29.
So that's why we have a sterile cockpit, guys. Sterile cockpit.
For Tango Foxtrot, hold short over November.
Unbelievable. I'm really embarrassed by that.
Tango
So anyway, all we've done, we've crossed on to November 1. Just like this, look, and then on to and then on to Echo 3. So you get a right telling off for that. At least I didn't enter the active runway. That would have been really bad. Embarrassing. Anyway, here we go. We're now on the correct taxiway. He's on the ball at least. He could see. He could see. I'd cock that up.
Calling you for taxi to Kilo Romeo.
I was testing him, that's what it was.
Boeing 738.
Perfect. So hopefully get handed over to tower shortly as we approach Hull Point Echo. Yeah, could have gone on the runway, LaBoost. You're quite right. That was a little unprofessional of me. But you would not be chatting.
Tower 118.3, have a nice flight, bye.
Tower on 118.3, broadsword 02. Yeah, thanks for the heads up. Just testing you there. Bye. Banter. He's being too professional, but doesn't take the banter. That should be on as well. Anyway, 118.3 for tower. Next frequency then. It should be... We've got Warsaw Approach. It could be any of these 128.805, but we'll check it in a second. This is very... using a lot of thrust here. Martin R. The missed turn will be on Av Herald. Yes, it could be Av Herald. That's a good site if you want to know about incidents and accidents. You'd see flight deck to sim runway incursion due to talking to streamers. Judy 183 coming in with 10 zloty. Thank you very much for the tip and donation. Just on the chats.
30, 20.
So here's holding point Echo. Let's double to make sure. Yes, Echo 3 for runway 29. Not going to make that mistake again, guys. Okechi Tower, good evening. Broadsword 02, taxi holding point Echo 3, runway 29er, ready for departure.
Last calling station, please say only call sign.
Broadsword 02. Oops, call sign only, is it?
Broadsword 02, line up runway 29er and wait.
Line up and wait 29er, Broadsword 02. Okay, so clear the line up and wait. Excellent. MCP is set. Transponder, TRA, strobe lights, they are on. Holding on the landing lights. Weather radar on as well. Gui Sousa, don't forget to close the cockpit door. Yes, the cabin crew remember to do it today. Excellent. So I'd usually go idle thrust, but I need to keep the thrust up here.
Swiss 44 Whiskey, welcome to Warsaw, contact Okęcie Grand 1.
So there's a BA Jumbo. Wouldn't expect that here, but each their own. I think that's just a generic one there. Cool, anyway, there we are.
Okay, Chief is not 528, stabilizer, localizer, last 6.
Cool, so runway headings 289 QDM.
It's
a big displaced threshold here on runway 29.
Mamy pozwolenie na lądowanie lotu 528.
Excellent. So just hold it on the brakes here.
Warsaw Tower, good day, Lufthansa Cargo 836, fully established ILS runway 33.
Lufthansa Cargo 8386, dokończyć tower, hello,
Perfect.
continue approach your
So I'm
number
not
2,
100% sure the
ready
next
to approach.
frequency.
Reduce minimum approach speed for the Cargo
So we've
836.
got centre, we've got delivery, this it could be approach frequency.
Warsaw Tower, lock, 14 of Russia, holding short runway 29.
We'll go with
Transport Tango Fox
128005, is
your
that
number
active?
2 for departure,
As a
hold
guess.
position.
What position lock, 14 of Russia.
128005. Cool, there we go. Strict noise abatement here. Yeah, so it is another NAGP1 departure.
Hello, 002, are you ready for immediate departure?
A firm broadsword 02, ready to go. So as soon as he gives clearance, we're going.
So prepare for immediate departure
Oh.
after the traffic. Prepare.
Okay, fully ready to go, holding position, broadsword 02. Perfect, so as soon as he goes, we'll get the thrust up to 40% and get going here. So obviously some spacing for landing on runway 33 as well.
Right, 5 Sierra Mike, holding position.
So there's traffic landing.
Right, 5 Sierra Mike.
Lot.
5 Sierra Mike, here or number 3 for departure.
Oh, I wish, you know what, I wish simming was like this when I was doing this back in 2002.
Number 3 for departure.
So
Right,
good
5
now.
Sierra Mike.
So good. VATSIM's the place to be. He told me to be ready for immediate, so... Oh, this guy's come to quite an abrupt stop.
528, locate runway via Sierra 1.
Oh, I think he's messed it all up. He stopped too quickly.
Sierra 1, load 528.
Perfect. So yeah, it looks like Krakow, we should be fine for the Cat 1 ILS into there. You know, if it's really good, I might demonstrate a raw data ILS for you. You know, show you what to do if you turn the flight directors off, which is something we can't do in real life. We have to always have...
Break. Lufthansa Cargo 838, wind is 130 degrees, 7 knots, runway 33 clear to land.
Oh, crikey. So I just wanted to stop there because he's
Good
giving
to
someone clear to
land.
land. So I might do a raw data, but see what the visibility's like. If it's pretty bad, we'll probably stick to the Cat 1.
Liner 3 for Bravo, against tower, hello, continue approach your number 2, reduce speed to minimum approach speed.
Yes, Aviator, I remember. I was drinking a bottle of water. Thirsty work, this streaming. Thirsty work.
Lot 528, welcome to Warsaw.
So much for the immediate clearance, I think, because that guy stopped very abruptly. He couldn't give us the immediate takeoff clearance. Yeah, it would have been tight squeeze. So Lufthansa 76? I don't even know. You guys would be far better at recognising their aircraft. It's a Finnair Airbus there. We spent a lot of time waiting on runways for takeoff today, haven't we? Our stream was meant to be about 2.5 hours. We're going to have to overshoot slightly.
Ryanair 3 for Bravo, wind is 130 degrees, 7 knots, runway 33 clear to land.
So yeah, you always take precedence over landing aircraft here.
Lufthansa Cargo, welcome to Warsaw. Contact Vacancy Ground.
Smells clear to land.
121.9, thank you, Lufthansa Cargo 836.
Perfect. So, I'd never do this in real life, but if we're going to wait for a while, I'm going to put some of the information in the FMC for the flight. You'd never do this on the whole point, but just because it's such a short flight is no problem. Actually, on very short sectors, you've got time. You can do this on stand before you get airborne, because it does save it all there. So this, every minute you can save on a short sector is very useful. 100.215 at 15. There we go. Saved ourselves 30 seconds. Can even put the fixings in.
Warsaw Tower, this is Lancina 1224 on the ALS runway 33.
And 10, and it'll be 5 miles probably.
Land 1224, consider low to approach.
So hopefully
Okay,
he'll
so
get us a little gap to
T24.
get us out of soon. Oops, make sure on the takeoff page for takeoff is PF.
002, sorry for delay, wind east 130 degrees, 7 knots, runway 29 clear for takeoff after departure, contact Warszawa approach on frequency 128, decimal 8.
Oh, very good.
Flight, bye bye.
Runway 29 cleared takeoff after departure, contact 128.8, thank you very much, broadsword 02, Cinque. So he's got a clearance, let's get going, taxi light on, timing 288. 288. We are all stabilised. Toga, set takeoff thrust. Let's go to Krakow. Go, takeoff thrust set indications normal.
Ryanair 34 Bravo, contact Orange Ground 11.9, bye bye. 121.9, Ryanair 34 Bravo, thanks.
There we go. Checked, hand off the hand off thrust lever, no, keep the thrust lever, hand on the thrust lever till V1, relieve the forward pressure at 80 knots.
V1, rotate.
And rotate 2 to 2.5 degrees per second, through the dead band, up to 15 degrees, target attitude, onto the flight directors. Pause rate, gear up.
Land 1224, wind is 130 degrees, 7 knots, runway 30 degrees.
Go straight back into the cloud again. LNAV. Now this is something I don't like about Explain 11, this ridiculous disco stress flashing lights. It's nowhere near as proper. You don't even see it hardly. You can fix it by turning the strobes and anti-collision light off, which I might do, because it does get a bit annoying, especially if you're epileptic or something. Right, 1,000 feet command day, and we won't bug up again until we're 3,000 feet above aerodrome level, and we'll contact departures now. So yeah, this flashing light is, you know, it's way too much. So just put that to steady. It looks like we're out of the cloud for now, so we'll put this there. Excellent. So we'll bug up at 3,000 feet because it's very noise sensitive again out of Warsaw. I think it's Warsaw approach, isn't it? Yeah. Perfect. Still very busy, aircraft holding there. Lovely, look at the lighting here after the sun's just set. Ah, traffic again. So bug up at 3,300 feet. Alright, bug up. Warsaw approach, very good evening. Broadsword 02, Avena 7 Golf, passing 3,400 for altitude 6,000 feet. Flaps 1.
Broadsword 02, Warszawa, radar contact translatable 00, proceed in a height approved.
Oh, I couldn't add a word about Broadsword 02, sorry, say again. Flaps up.
Climb 200, direct Avena, height approved.
Climb flight level 200, direct Edina, Broadsword 02, Cinque. Okay, so set 200 check, that's our final cleared cruise level, set standard. And we can now engage Avena, passing for 0 for flight level 200 after takeoff checklist. And he did clear us, direct Avena, I hope. We'll find out in a second. There we go, that's a good shortcut, LNAV available. Right, after takeoff checklist. Oops, don't need engine anti-ice for now, so PM would have turned that off. Obviously, single pilot. Got to do it all yourself. So, air conditioning pressurization 1.2. This should be set to 200. That's why we do these checks on the after takeoff checklist. On, auto, checked. Air conditioning pressurization set. Altimeters standard set, passing 8 flight level 200s. Release the cabin crew after takeoff. Checklist is complete. So nice clearance, and I'm guessing, like going out of Gdansk, I'm going to have someone vector me into Krakow. I'm not sure. We'll find out later. But it's a very very short flight to Krakow. So yeah, that was awesome. Very busy, very busy. going into Warsaw there, but a great place. I'm going to do some more flights, I think, in and out of Warsaw and some streams, probably a slightly longer flight, so we can have a bit of a chat in the cruise and stuff, which we did not have time for today.
November 1.
Cool.
November.
So something you can do, again, this is SOP specific. When you've been cleared to a flight level above 150, noise is no longer a factor once you're above a certain height. You can actually get rid of climb thrust, reduce climb thrust. So if you go to M1 limit, press delete and delete that, you get full climb thrust. This is actually more fuel efficient, believe it or not. You'd think you burn more fuel with a higher thrust setting, but you actually don't, because look at your rate of climb. You'll spend a lot less time climbing, and it's far more fuel efficient to get full climb selected as soon as possible. So that's something we do as soon as we can clear above flight level 150.
Warsaw departure, lock 4 Tango Foxtrot, climbing through 3,200 or 6,000.
Perfect.
Identified from flight 7240
So inbound to Avina, which is the termination of the SID, and as you can see, it's a very very short sector in the cruise there. Did someone just burp? Was that me? Oh dear. So there's a shortcut direct to Avina there, so we can terminate that. Add that. Add that. Add that. And then we can get Krakow up already.
Just full established, they give me a go around for another aircraft crossing my route. And after
okay, this guy's cracking me up. Right, arrival going to be a QCAM 2 Golf. Where are we? QCAM 2 Golf. Excellent. So the arrival QCAM, Kilo 512. I'll have arrival again, so these little points there, but we'll probably anticipate a shortcut direct to VATSIM. Back approach will be ILS 27. Oh, don't forget to do the pre-cruise check, guys, at 100. Fuel lights, AP off, pressurization set. 3.0 climbing. Lease passengers already. Cool. There we go. ILS 25. And we'll just get the back. We want airport, excuse me guys, and we want airport info, there we go. So runway 25, probably vacate at Foxtrot. I think Echo is unavailable for a 737. It's for Noir aircraft. I've flown to Krakow quite a few times in real life, so I'm reasonably familiar. And then in on the taxiway, and then parking's here, any other stands there. But this, I've only got default scenery, I didn't find a decent Krakow payware scenery today, guys. We'll just have the parking stands and coordinates, so we'll come in here.
Just confirm director Whiskey Alpha 5.
Excellent. Coming off Bravo, invite Golf, and then we'll probably go for stand 1 or something straight ahead. Perfect. Ronnie Stevenson, which chart did you get for the noise abatement for 3,000 feet? Well, it's actually on my operators. They have a guidance document. It does sometimes translate that on the Warsaw sheet. I haven't looked on the Warsaw chart exactly, but there might be some information there regarding the noise abatement departure procedure. But it was definitely an ADP1. I'll try and have a look later for you. So you can see this kind of fog blank. This is probably exactly what it looked like over Poland now. It's kind of mist settles. This time of year they always get low visibility, just where it is geographically. Madhu, how old were you when you started flight simming? I was about 11, 12 years old, and I got it for my birthday. I asked for it. Flight Simulator 98 was it? And then I probably used was 2002. But that was very different simming back then. I think VATSIM existed, but it was in its infancy, as was the internet. So I used to have dial-up connection growing up. Half of you probably wouldn't even know what that is. Perfect.
Good afternoon, Ryanair. 5 Sierra Mike with you, oil switch Golf.
Excellent, so it's definitely want to start reducing your rate of climb now. Vertical speed 1000. And we'll look at the approach into Krakow, but as I said, I'll probably do it, yeah, if it's weather's not too bad, we'll show you a raw data approach once we've got the gear down flat 15.
No shuttle G8 Delta, maintain 7,000 and fly 155.
John, can you simulate emergencies? Yeah, probably not in today's stream. Not in today's stream. My last stream, the engine failed, completely unscheduled, which was a bit interesting, but I didn't react it correctly. But yeah, we can plan a bit, but I'm not going to do it on a VATSIM event or something. Probably wouldn't really appreciate that. Like that guy that had the autopilot failure earlier, he wasn't very popular on VATSIM. So just checking the weather in Krakow, looks okay, 7,000 metres, no significant cloud, 10 degrees, QNH is 1014. So yeah, very short flights like this, a very low cruise level, probably go a tad high in reality. We've got the QNH set, and then for Krakow, 110.3. Oh, I think the same ILS frequency as it was in Warsaw. Final approach course is 253. Set, and the minimums are going to be Cat 1 ILS, category C, 997 feet. Now I had that issue earlier where we couldn't set it, but it looks like it's working now. There we go. Excellent. So 997. It's now set. No, I really rushed that setup earlier on the transit because that should be set to 800 feet. That's the land elevation there is about 800 feet in Krakow. RVR required is 550 meters, and the star very simple. Just going to modify it slightly to allow for a CDA there. Legs. Step. 3,000 feet or above here. So if you want to learn what I'm doing here, I've got a high energy approach tutorial which kind of explains in a bit more detail what we're doing. And I'm just going to go Kilo 504 for a second. Direct to VATSIM. So I'm not going to, just want to see what the altitude would be if we got that shortcut at Kilo 504. It says 4,830, so erase that. We'll just put 4,900. And again, that just allows for a, allows for a CDA if we get a straight in there. Cool. So that is it. Everything we need is tuned. LVPs probably actually wouldn't be enforcing Krakow at the moment because the visibility is in excess of 5,000 metres, so we won't go into too much detail about that. But yeah, we'll probably get vectored Kilo 504 somewhere towards VATSIM onto the ILS. Landing performance wise, long enough landing distance available. We've got 2,300 metres. And we're probably going to vacate at Foxtrot. There is Delta here, but you have to stop pretty quickly there. So I'm just going to go water brake 2, flat 30. I'm not going to do the OPT performance, but you have to do it for every landing usually. But because you can't see it, there's not much point. Burning about 600 kilos of fuel. 60.6. Flat 30, water brake 2 as discussed. Idle reverse we'll use as well. That's it, so I guess we'll stay with this guy and hopefully he'll hand us over to someone else or descent. I'm not sure if he's going to vector us all the way into Krakow. We'll find out shortly. Oh no, there is Krakow Tower online, that's pretty cool. 125.45 broadsword 02. Good day. So next radar frequency. Excellent. Busy here. Look at this, look. Providing radar service for all of these airports. Unbelievable. This guy's going to be super busy. Yeah, very busy. I haven't had much chance to look at some of the chat messages, but I understand my Nightbot's been a bit over the top with the information and stuff. But if you're putting anything that's on the banned words list, you get booted or warned. So I'll probably keep it there.
So
we'll just get checked in with this guy, especially as we're approaching top of descent. I should have selected VNAV as well at top of climb. Just going to bug the descent speed, which is 273 knots actually.
Scandinavian 78 Foxtrot, reduce speed 180 knots.
Perfect.
180 knots for Scandinavian 78.
Very busy again, so I'm going to have to just get in there as soon as possible, get descent.
3000 feet, Courage 104, Scandinavian 78.
Radar, good evening, broadsword 02, flight level 200, direct to Negov, request descent.
Station calling, second your call sign.
Broadsword 02, flight level 200, direct to Negov for Krakow.
Broadsword 02, hello Warsaw, radar contact. Cleared Kukam to Golf arrival, runway 25 in Krakow.
Cleared the Kukam 2 Golf arrival and request descent to Broadsword 02.
Broadsword 02, descent flight level 150.
Descend flight level 150, Broadsword 02. So that's set 150 check. Just going to go level change because we've just passed top of descent point. I'm not sure where my vertical profile's gone on VNAV. I'm just going to go direct to Negov just to try and fix that. But there should be a little vertical profile there for descent. Not sure where it's gone. Perfect. So, for some reason I've lost all the descent information. Oh, there it is. There you go. Perfect.
Lot 301, descent to flight level 20.
So I don't know if there's an ATIS frequency for Krakow, but I'm reasonably happy with the weather. Can't find online, just find Krakow Tower.
For level 150,
Lot 4 Tango Foxtrot, descent to flight level 210.
Yeah, just Krakow Tower.
Descend to flight level 210, lot 4 Tango Foxtrot.
Cool, and the Krakow Tower probably next guy, 123.25. So yeah, 16 minutes flight time, we're already descending. Super short sectors. Oops.
Easy 1 for Alpha, contact approach 128.8.
Cool.
128 for Alpha, thank you, the same flight.
So again, just as we're descending here, you know, just sticking with level change. I could go VNAV, but because we've only got 2,000 feet to go, you want to try and slow the rate of descent down as you approach your cleared flight level to in a real aircraft to avoid getting any RAs there.
Austrian 5907, contact Krakow Tower, 123.250, thank you.
So he's transferred on to Krakow Tower. So 1 to go, just going to reduce that rate of descent, vertical speed, just take a few knots off the speed so we just don't add any extra energy to the aircraft.
Request descending lot 319.
Lot 319, descent flight level 150 and contact approach 128.8, thank you.
Descent 150 and contact approach, thank you, bye bye, lot 319.
Cool, just looking at some of the other comments. Supposed to do a takeoff and stuff. So I've only got top chat on this. I'm so new to streaming, guys, still, so if I miss loads of questions, sorry about that. You know, I do try, but generally in the descent critical phases I haven't got that much time to look at what people are asking. So again, getting quite high, but we can't go low because we've been cleared to 150. So we're just going to take some speed off the aircraft there. Yeah, hopefully no engine failures. The last time we did a second sector, the old engine conked out going into standstill.
Warszawa, low runner 166, will book V0.
Ryanair 3166, Warszawa, hello, radar contact.
Baraka, more whiskey. When do you set the start? Which is to flight. So severe turbulence, we move it to flight, prevent the engines from flaming out, less likely. Very... see if he's calling me. Very heavy precipitation flight, certain memory items, so if you had loss of thrust on both engines, move it to flight as part of that procedure. But generally, we only use continuous, which lets the present igniter, so if you put it to continuous, the right igniters fire. If you put it to flight, all the igniters fire, so it just decreases the risk of an engine flame.
This L3000, clear for ILS2, IL7 established.
So we're getting super high again. This is the theme with most of the approaches here.
Descent flight level 100.
Descend flight level 100, broadsword 02. So that is set 100 checked, level change, go straight to 50 knots. And don't worry if you get, you know, it's quite aggressive pitching down here. You know, you'd be floating in the rear of the cabin if you got that. Oh geez, that's a bit sensitive. But yeah, rates of descent around 4,000 to 5,000 isn't that unusual. You know, isn't that unusual? But the rate, you know, the rate at which it's changing, that is unusual. It shouldn't be so quick there. But yeah, it should be a gradual acceleration to 250 knots. It's got a private message from Ryanair 5 Sierra Mike. Keep up the great videos. Thanks a lot. You're welcome. Perfect. So, again, I'd consider using speed brake. We've only got 3,000 feet to go, so I'm going to use a tiny bit there. But you've got to bear in mind that your cleared level's coming up as well, just to try and get as much of the profile back as possible.
Control, Ryanair 42, Oscar Foxtrot with you. Flight level 370, directly north.
Perfect. So yeah, seatbelt sign should go on now. That's at 150.
Hello.
That's set to that.
El Polonia 112. El Polonia 112. You were handed off to approach about 10 minutes ago. I don't know where you have been, but for now, contact approach 128.8. Thank you very much. Roger, 128.8.
And confirm that Ryanair 4.
So we're on the arrival now.
Yeah, that's Ryanair 4 Echo
I'm
Delta.
just going to again slow the aircraft down with one to go, just because we're about 1,000 feet high. Keep the speed brake extended just to help it slow down. So yeah, it needs fine tuning, and it's very aggressive, and it's actually climbing slightly, so it should be a little bit smoother with the pitch there, changing speed.
Okay,
so inbound now to
Ryanair 4 to Oscar Foxtrot.
Inbound to Kilo 504, max 220 knots.
Mapping to Golf arrival runway 25 in Krakow.
But we're good here. We're just going to keep the speed about 220 knots, complying with the speed restriction coming up. Remember that 4.9, that's for a straight-in approach. So if we don't get the straight-in approach, we'll go all the way around here, and we should be all right. 1,000 feet you could deal with just about. Right, so approaching flight level 100, so definitely want to stow the speed brake now. Approaching 100, so do the post-cruise check, so fuel, lights.
Descend altitude 4,000 feet, QNH 1014.
Descend altitude 4,000 feet, QNH 1014, broadsword 02. So that's set, QNH 1014 coming in, 10,400 for altitude, 4,000 feet, no flags, and the standby altimeter is set. We'll just finish the post-cruise check, so fuel lights, APU is off. Pressurization still good, that's all set, seatbelts on, recall, and we've got about 10 minutes to landing, guys, 10 minutes to landing.
1014, lost in
Says traffic.
Okay,
it looks like it's ahead of us.
We can start giving clearance one by one, please.
So this guy's got to get clearance as well. Just going to bug 240, let the aircraft accelerate. There is traffic. Ooh, 1,700 feet below us. We're being cleared to 4,000 feet. I wouldn't say that's very, very good. Can't see him. Yeah, that would be a big concern if you've been cleared to 4,000 with TCAS like that. That's going to be pretty tight. We'll be getting a TA now. There's a TA, look. Ooh, can you see him? I can't. Yeah, I'm, you know, in real life, obviously, would would mention this, but I'm going to carry on. Oh god, that is really tight. Yeah, that is crazy. That'd be an RA now, and I probably would be responding to that. 500 feet below, 400 feet below. What the hell?
Polonia 19er Sierra.
So he's, I know where he is, but he's super close. We would have been tight. That would be proper RA. Follow the manoeuvre and stuff, and that would be high risk there. That's really, really dodgy. I don't know what this controlling was there. Oh well. Anyway, let's concentrate on the task at hand.
Polonia 19er Sierra, clearance copy correct. Standby for
speed brake extended. Just going to go 250.
Your estimated off-block time at
profile's coming back in nicely. So I'm hoping we would get a vector to go straight in, but we're on profile for that. If we are now on profile to go straight in, but if we do this, we're now going to be low. So we'll actually go back to stowing the speed brake. And we'll just go back to 220 knots, which is the speed restriction coming up anyway.
Skyr 001, thank you. Rzeszów wind is calm, runway 27 clear to land.
Perfect, so yeah, it shouldn't be pitching up like that. So yeah, I see some comments. Yeah, I think that was a ghost TCAS. Yeah, I don't think that was there. I don't think the controller would have allowed that to happen. I know these guys are pretty good at doing that. Excellent.
Scandinavian 1736, hello Warszawa, radar
so we could still accept a straight in. We go straight to flat 5, 220 speed brake. But seeing it looks like he's not even handed off to Krakow Tower, we'll just fly the arrival, make a left turn, and just keep a very shallow descent from that point onwards. So we always allow for this kind of worst case for high energy approaches. Stow the lever of shame. So yeah, our captain once told me when I started, this is called the speed brake lever. That's lever of shame. It's absolute nonsense. You know, it doesn't mean you've messed anything up. It's there as a tool. If you need to use speed brake, use the goddamn speed brake. It wouldn't fit it otherwise. Yeah, that's used as a tool when you need it. So now we're getting quite, because we're flying this direction here, we're getting quite low. We're just going to really shallow off.
We were told to contact approach 128 decimal 8. Thank you.
Vertical speed 400 feet per minute.
Thank you very much for one.
So I'm hoping he goes to Krakow Tower soon. So because we're going in this direction, really shallow descent now. So low. So don't ignore this. Ignore this now. This isn't correct. It's based on us being at a lower height. 4,900 feet.
Hello, clear to destination Warszawa, flight en route, departure runway 25 via Badal 1 Juliet departure, squawk 4511.
Freeland Golf cleared Warsaw via runway 25, VATSIM 1 Juliet and 1
Perfect, so I definitely want to give this guy a nudge because we'll be on the localizer soon. It's got the ILS identified, Kilo Romeo Whiskey.
Lot 39 Golf, squawk 4511. 4511.
4511, lot 39 Golf.
39 Golf,
yeah, I think it's guy might have. Two things could have happened. He's either forgotten us or he told me to contact Krakow Tower early and I forgot. Which is probably the most likely reason. I'll give him a nudge.
39 Golf, say again the last part.
Lot 39er Golf, estimated off block at 163.
So there's the glide slope. Mod's taking a bit of a shortcut there.
We are fully ready when able.
I really need to contact Krakow Tower now. Or Krakow Approach or someone. Ooh, where's the mod taking me, guys?
Ryanair 3166, no federated switch monitor unit command to the simulator, radar services are terminated. Thank you.
Really need to check in now, Krakow. Broadsword 02, we're approaching the localizer for Krakow.
Warsaw 02, Warsaw 02, thank you. When established in the localizer, descend on the glide path and report fully established on the glide path.
Wilco, broadsword 02. Okay, so he's cleared us the approach and descend on the ILS. Well, arm approach now. Vorlog's established. You can really shallow off the vertical speeds. And looks like the weather in Krakow is absolutely fine, guys. So let's keep it at 220 knots for now.
Beeline 9er Papa Zulu. Hello, Warszawa radar.
We can bug the up speed, and actually going to go straight to flap 1. So if once you're on the ILS, you want to really get flap 1 selected, otherwise your speed could run away from you quite quickly. So glide slope capture, missed approach altitude 4,000 feet is set, and flap 5.
Sky 001, thank you, continue, stand of your choice. Do miłego.
Good.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And set runway ending. Broadsword 02, fully established, ILS 25, Krakow.
Broadsword 02, thank you, maintain speed 180 or greater until 6 miles final, contact tower 123.250, thank you.
180 knots or greater until 6 miles, contact tower on 123.225, broadsword 02, dziękuję. Or 25, it's 225 on the chart. Let's go with this one. So he wants 180 knots till 6, which we'll give him. We'll just leave it at this speed here and then we'll slow down straight away. Krakow Tower, good evening. Broadsword 02, established ILS 25, approaching 10 miles.
Broadsword 02, good evening. Wind 040 degrees, 5 knots, runway 25, clear to land.
Runway 25, cleared to land. Broadsword 02. Awesome, so clear to land. We would have done the approach checks, but we're already on the ILS, course is set. Cabin crew, imagine they're seated. And yeah, got landing clearance. We're just holding on the landing checklist, guys. So what I'm going to do, we're going to configure at about 5-6 miles. And once I've got the landing checklist done, I'm actually going to go raw data. And I'll show you some of the things we teach in the sim. So raw data is when I turn the flight directors off, just looking at the PFD. It's quite... This is where the mod really shines, because the attitude and thrust settings which work in the real aircraft and the sim in real life work for the mod too. You know, it really utilises the flight model that X-Plane 11 has. So we'll have a go at that, see how we get on using the raw data, see how we get on. Alright, so we'll configure a bit earlier for that, so gear down, flat 15, 180 till 6 we've maintained. Oops, landing checks, flap start switches are continuous. Oops, oh, don't do that. Recall. Checked, speed brake on, green light, landing gear, down 3 green, auto brake 2 set, holding at flaps, 175 for flap 30, match speed. Swap wheel, do we fly raw data online? No, we don't. We do not. It is not permitted. Flaps, 30 green light, landing lights on, checklist is complete. Right, so raw data. This is great for me to practice actually, because we're not allowed to do this. Disconnect autopilot auto throttle, and flight directors off. Okay, so here we go. What we want to do here is really know your target attitude and thrust setting for the phase of flight. So for flap 30 on a 3 degree ILS, you want about around 57% in the real aircraft. It looks like about 53 today. That's based on around 60 tons. So you see already how the glide slope's pitching up. So I'm going to make a change on that already. Target rate of descent around 750 feet per minute is what you need to maintain the glide path. Speed's already going low, so I'm scanning all the time. I'm scanning my speed, the localizer, glide path, thrust, 1,000 feet checked. I'm going to make a slight turn to the left. Usually when we teach this you wouldn't be able to see the runway, so that is cheating a bit. So I'm really going to pitch up now because I'm getting 1 dot. We don't want to get any lower than 1 dot. So set about 650. Speed's good, a little bit low still, so adding about 57%, which is the target thrust setting. Back onto the glide path, so set that target attitude around 1 degree again. 1 degree works quite well, flat 30, 60 tons. There we go. Localizer's telling me to fly right, so we make the slightest turn. There we go.
Continue approach slot 14 Foxtrot.
I have got a raw data tutorial, which is always there. Yeah, voice is a bit high, I just saw the corner of my, yeah, I put the mic in front of my mouth accidentally. So you can see how the glide slope's getting really sensitive now. So I'm just going to pitch onto the horizon.
500.
There we go, back to 2 reds, 2 whites, just keep that rate of descent going. Oop, getting a little bit high again, so just set around 1,000 feet, no more than that.
Minimums.
There we go.
200.
Back onto the Pappies now, really, over the threshold. 60 metre wide runway here in Krakow, so it makes you look like you're low. Continue. Should get the radio altimeter flashing there. Look at the ends of the runway.
50, 40, 30.
Check.
20,
Close. 10. Just hold the attitude. Hold the attitude. Oh, a little bit firm. Speed brakes up. Reverses. Just going to stick with idle reverses. It's the last flight of the day. Excellent. 100 knots. And here comes 80 knots. Start with the manual braking now.
80 knots.
And that was a little bit of a demonstration of a raw data. We did something slightly different, which I try to do every stream. There we go. Cancel reverse. Stopping is assured. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Krakow. Flight time at 35 minutes. Excellent. So this is just default scenery, so probably not in the right position or anything like that. Bring it to around 10 knots for a 90-degree turn. There we go. There we go, what a day, huh? No engine failures though, huh? Anything like that.
Lot 4 Tango Foxtrot, wind is 040 degrees, 5 knots, runway 25, clear flat.
Excellent.
Quick line runway 25, lot 14 Foxtrot.
So we'll wait for his clearance. Usually port runway vacated, but he's already cleared someone to land, so he knows we're vacated. Excellent. Well, my rudder's slipping on my floor. Oh.
Road Sword 02. Continue taxi via Bravo, Golf, Zulu, Alpha to gate number 3.
Cool. Taxi Bravo, Golf, Zulu, Alpha for gate 3, broadsword 02. Okay, so I don't have the proper scenery here, so we'll see how we get on there. I'll have to probably guess that. Probably should mention it to him, but it's quite quiet. So, flaps can now go up, speed brakes stowed. Check the system page for the hydraulics. +1. Set that to 100. And probes off. Recall. There we go. Pretty proficient at taxi and flow single pilot. That should be master caution anti-ice for the probes. There we go. 30 knots up to this taxi speed there. Cool. So yeah, I saw the circular version of the Barrow minimums went back to circular for some reason at minimums, but this is quite a new feature there. And I think ZIBO, I need to mention you on Discord, but you should be able to download this exact version of the mod I've used for the stream now. So 3.31G should be now public. It usually releases them after I've done a stream, and you can see there it's just brilliant. We did 2 sectors, didn't even shut X-Plane 11 down. It's been working absolutely fine all day, just the minor little things which we're working on, but it's yeah, it's you can just match real world procedures in this every time, and it works perfectly. Very good. So I'm having a look here on the charts. I couldn't find any decent scenery here for Krakow. But he said Golf Zulu, Gate 3, which is here. Excellent. So this is where the military apron is. There's lots of military aircraft here in Krakow. That's in Bravo. Excuse me. Just looking for Gate Golf, which should be this one here coming up. Gate Golf there.
Well, 4 Tango Foxtrot, welcome to Krakow. Continue taxi via Foxtrot, Bravo, Golf, Zulu, Alpha to gate number 9.
Because that's the aircraft that just landed.
Bravo, Golf, Zulu, Alpha, lot 4 Tango Foxtrot.
Was that Lord? I didn't get that call sign. It's a short taxi, John, as we're nearly there now. Coming onto the apron now. APU, can we now start in via Gate Golf? I'm guessing these aircraft are on prepared, seeing they're floating halfway in the sky. Perfect. So Max, oh, there's a taxi edge like that shouldn't be there. So I'm guessing he's on stand 1 because he's right in the corner. That's stand 2. So we're going to go right next to this turboprop here, which is stand 3. So that would be my best kind of estimate. Said they could probably only just see my rudder fin. Calling passenger Escobar. Yeah, he's like that random guy on the who calls all the PAs with special food requests. Unbelievable. Alright, cool. So, oh, I can't see that freaking aircraft because it's floating halfway in the air. I'm guessing this is stand. Oh no, because he's on that stand. We'll just take the next stand here. He's on stand 2 probably. So we'll go here. It's probably not correct, ideally. But it'll work for us. Cool, AP's on the bus. Oops, I absolutely messed up that taxiing. Anyway, there's no gate guidance, no scenery here, so we'll just bring it to a stop on this taxi line here. Brilliant.
50.
Okay, parking brake set. Michael Gaff coming in again for another donation. 10 slotty for coffee. Krakow. Thank you very much. Awesome, AP on the bus. 2 blues, red, edges dead. Full shutdown checklist as it was the last flight of the day.
Austrian 5, number 8, good evening, one more time. Your clear to the Tesla 5, departure line 2523 Juliet, let's go 4543.
Just wait for the N2 to drop below 20% there. Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Krakow. Here we are, in one piece. What a day, what a day. It was an awesome stream, really enjoyed that one. So we'll get logged off squawk box. Disconnect. There we go. So we're not bothering them anymore. And then we will look at the replay, which I know people always want to see. I like this little jingle, guys. Sorry if you're complaining about it. Right, flight toggle replay modes. And I'll sign out from the approach. We'll get you some nice previews. So guys, once again, thank you very much for meeting me in the stream for the 2-sector day, celebrating 100 years of Polish independence. Very busy, holding into Warsaw. Auto lands, Cat 3, we all did it safely as possible. We all arrived in one piece, which is the important thing. And I look forward to seeing you on the next stream, maybe in a couple of weeks' time, might be a bit longer because we're going for a little break. I'm off work at the moment for that. So I hope you get you there, and maybe a tutorial as well at some point as well. But once again, thank you very much for all the subscriptions and donations, and I'll see you on the next stream and tutorial. Have a great evening, guys. See you soon.